What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the den. I'm your host, Ed Honcho. It is my honor. It is my privilege. But most of all, it is my pleasure to get to chop it up with you guys each and every night, weeknight, Monday through Friday. Usually, right? Well, I try my best. Y'all know I do. I give it all I got. But I do enjoy the conversation, man, and it is a privilege to get to talk to you guys. All the differing opinions, whether you agree or disagree, just this community it's a beautiful thing, man. And like I say, just to get to know a lot of you that I've come to know over the time that the den is starting to grow. It is a pretty cool deal. So I appreciate you for being here. But tonight we're going to talk about just kind of everything that's going on, a continuation of the George Floyd story and everything, the saga with that. You know, the officer's been arrested, so we're kind of going into details about some of the things that have happened, the rioting, you know, what resolutions are taking place. I think there's a few things to talk about along with just life. So we'll get to that. Excuse me. Let's see who we have joining us this evening, and then let's get to some good conversation. I'm really looking forward to it. We got John Doe, M. Grace, Cultured, the Dawn of Discord. What's the motherfucking deal? And one of the ladies, Grace. John Doe. I mean, that's like announced, like, right? You don't know who John Doe could be. It's just a no name. Dream Queen. What's the motherfucking deal? Glad you could join us. D the Gamma. How are you this evening, ma'am? The Marquis. I saw that statement you made about the Netflix thing early in the chat as I was getting some stuff set up. Dwarky, you're usually like the corniest person in the den, but that was funny. I'm sure you stole it. I know for a fact you stole it. I don't know where you stole it from, but I'm sure it's going to pop up. I'm going to find out, and I'm going to ruin your joke because I know you didn't come up with that. Just to be a hater. Bro Lee, what's the motherfucking deal? Wokity Woke, what's the motherfucking deal? Wokity Woke, how you been, sir? Beyond a funny nigga, what's the motherfucking deal? Big homie Roach, we're gonna need a big can of Raid, what's the motherfucking deal? Infinity, formerly Infinity Pimps, what's the motherfucking deal? Jaja, what's the motherfucking bell? He won't pass. Let's see. Ray. God damn it, Ray Rants, what's the motherfucking deal? Roman, what's the motherfucking deal? Shonda, how are you this evening, ma'am? Man, we're going to talk about that, Heidi. Hello, Heidi. How are you? Heidi the hated. But we all over in the den. Brandon335, what's the motherfucking deal? How are you this evening? The stenographer, right? Somebody will ask, well, why are you calling the stenographer? Well, if you don't know, you ain't been here long enough. So, let's see. Make sure I ain't missing nobody. Real talk, what's the motherfucking deal? How you doing this evening, sir? Lady Licious in here? If I wouldn't have read that comment, I wouldn't have known. What's the motherfucking deal, Lady Licious? And anybody else I may have missed, man, I did not diss. Marquise, what's the motherfucking deal? I think I got everybody, right? Right? If I didn't, well, I apologize. Maybe next time. Let's get into some conversation, right? I really like this picture behind me. I may stick with it for a little bit. I don't know how long. I mean, I may change my mind next week and go back, to the. I just kind of like this picture. So there are a lot of things going on with this case, right? And shout out to Eastside. I don't know if he's with us tonight, but if he gets a chance to check it out. His boy Tariq, I guess, was dipping through the streets of Atlanta, looking real nervous. So, there's that. Bilderberg boy, what's the motherfucking deal? How are you doing this evening, sir? Yeah, he was just some little funny stuff going on. We'll get to that. But protests taking place all over the place, right? And at this point, it's not about whether you are for it or against it or whatever it's called. I mean, it is what it is right now. This is what's happening. Your opinions really don't add any weight to either side. And I mean, they're all over the country in various major cities, and I'm sure in some smaller cities they're doing some type of something that may not be as attractive, but it's wild because this thing is really different, right? Because there are allegations of, hey, Antifa is hijacking this thing and they're, doing a lot of damage to people trying to be peaceful. I'm like, oh, it's hogwash. I don't want to hear that. Don't push the blame somewhere else. That's not what's happening. And so I go back and I start kind of watching some of the clips that have been put out and that have been circulating, right? And I was watching some of the live streams of some of the various protests in various cities, right? And I'm like, damn it. There's barely any black people there. So what is going on here, right? Are these protests being hijacked? Are these people that really are concerned? The niggas not even give a shit enough about their own thing? Of course in Atlanta, the niggas was out in Atlanta. Everywhere else, it was sketchy at best. Sprinkled here and there, like salt and pepper. But, the niggas not even give a fuck enough about their own shit. Like, what's going on here? Because other protests that you saw kind of like around the Ferguson situation, most of the shit that you saw there, the motherfuckers look like they belonged in that environment. Like this is where they are and whatever's going on, all the craziness, the madness that's taking place it is what it is. And of course there were a lot of motherfuckers that were out of place. But what I mean is, like, it looked like people who, whether you believe they were really there for whatever or crisis action, whatever you want to, however you put them, like, we entertain all perspectives here. But it looked like people who were supposed to be there doing the things that were happening. This just looks a little bit different, right? I was watching a little shit in Houston today. And it was good. Like, I saw a bunch of clips. Everything was good. Everybody was, pretty much cooling and, just walking peacefully, a little march. We shall overcome. Kumbaya. And then I see a clip. They come upon one of the HPD vehicles. And they get to going to town on this motherfucker like an old school fucking Street Fighter bonus round. You feel me? Like, they're beating the fuck out this bitch. They're fucking the truck up. And it's like, and some of y'all just did not get that reference. If you didn't get the reference, you got a little Similac on your upper lip. You need to wipe that off. But it's just, I'm looking at it. I watched it a couple of times. And I'm just looking at the people. I'm like, are these people really here because they want to protest George? Or are they here because they know, hey, we can sprinkle in here. We can probably fuck some shit up. Nobody's gonna know who the fuck we are, except a lot of these motherfuckers don't wear masks. Like, I don't know why you would go somewhere with intentions of doing something stupid and not wearing a mask, which is goofy, At least keep it in your pocket. Even if you're bored, I feel like on the fence. I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I might get around here. I might do something stupid. Take a fucking mask, do something. And god damn it, see, look, I can't check my IG right now. My fucking my phone is charging. So, but I'll check in a minute. Give me just a second. This is... No, I heard about it. I heard there was people who were upset about Madonna. I stumbled across an interview, right? And I don't know why this isn't a big thing. Like, I guess maybe I failed to mention it because...
Never seen a looter in real life, fearful face.
And this is probably only going to sit with Houston people. Some of y'all are gonna be like, who the fuck are you talking to? But apparently, back in the Gap, Madonna wanted to sign Youngstown. Right? I was watching an interview, and I know I wasn't tripping when I heard it. I was like, this is some of the craziest shit. I cannot believe, like, you couldn't make something like that up, right? So it's craziness. Fucking culture, appreciate the love. Neither have I, right? I don't go participate in stuff like that. But getting back to that, and I appreciate it. Then you had a lot of people, if you watch these things, like I say, because you have the wide angle, I guess they're, filming from the helicopter or whatever. You got a lot of people on parking garages, a lot of people just in places just watching, just to see what everybody else is like, hoping to be a part. Like people, like when you see pictures, even on the thumbnail of this fucking video, you see people doing this. I don't understand how's this the fuck? I can't do that move. Like I think I got weak shoulders or something, I can't sit here and say, hey, hey bro, it's me, Honcho dude. I'm here at the riots. Not really rioting, but just checking out the scene. It's going down. I'm out. Like, no, fuck that. Like, back in the day, there was none of this. There was none of this like filler functioning. Just like I'm here just to be here to see everything. Like, you were in or you were out, right? Like, you were there to either participate in what's going on here, or you weren't there. There's none of this, I'm just an innocent bystander, I just want to know what you guys got going on. And riot vlogs. We'll go city to city, speak some booties and titties, and we'll try to see what's going on with these riots, man. Y'all just check me out. It's gonna be like a great series. I'm gonna hit 5 cities in 3 days. It's gonna be amazing, so you guys just watch it. I think you'll love it. But my thing is this, right? It's just to the point where what is really going on? Like, I'm frustrated because I think everything is it's like, yeah, as much as shit's going down and people I'm sure getting stepped on and bumped into, but even watching the fucking live footage, it looks like motherfuckers were there to go holler at hoes and shit. Like, it don't even look like people are really there to protest. Like, people have signs and yes, they got masks. You got people like talking to the cops, but again, that lack of structure, lack of organ. I got to talk about your boy, Professor fucking Trill. Oh my God. Fucking T.I. guy. All right. So, again, watching the live feed, I'm watching the Atlanta News live feed, right? And they got Killer Mike and they have T.I. Brought into the studio, I guess, to talk to the people. And they were fucking some cars up. They were fucking some shit up in Atlanta. And Killer Mike, well thought, I mean, just, you tell he was really emotional because he said his dad was a cop, and I think he said he has a cousin or something like that's a cop, and he was just saying he's torn between, a lot of the stuff that's going on. But he just really had a really heartfelt speech, you could say. And T.I., I don't know what the fuck T.I. was talking about, man. The first part I caught, I missed the first part, I think, where he said the other thing, but I read the transcript of it. And, he was just basically talking about what's going on in Atlanta, not to do this, not this, that. It's just, he was just talking about the history of it, where it came from, hustlers and some other shit. But he mentioned Atlanta. Oh, wait, some fucking phone went dead. He said basically that this is Wakanda, right? And if y'all niggas don't stop with this bullshit, right? You're talking about a situation where this is some real shit. This is a buzz. This is Wakanda. We got to protect it or something. He said, I'm gonna pull up on my phone. Get a little juice here in a minute. But it's like, what the fuck is going on? All of this shit. This is what you have to say is, this is Wakanda. This is what you give me right now, right? Clifford, this is what we're talking about. This is Wakanda. Like, come on, man. He said some other things, but it was just like, he just looked angry and just mad, and he's a haircut. Like, it's, I don't know, man. I don't know. I know it's your boy, Professor Trill, so, don't be mad at me. I'm just telling it like it is. You watch it for yourself. Let me see. Which one? Because I watched a bunch of stuff and I have to, I mean, if I have a terrible memory. Pornhub kills, well, damn it, Heidi. I wish somebody would have told me earlier. That's no wonder my phone doesn't ever work. Goddamn Pornhub. What? What are you talking about, Lady Tia? Um, let me check it here just a second. Give me a few minutes. I'm gonna let my phone get some juice and I'm gonna check it. But that's terrible. That's disgusting. Let me fucking forget about try you fucking Heidi. Fucking yeah, man. But just all the things that are going on with this movement. I was talking about everybody, people who are just there, recording on their phones, just to say, "Hey, I'm here," just to say, "Hey, it's going down." You know, like if you're not there to serve a purpose, why are you really there? Watch it on TV. I mean, it's going to be on TV. Like people want to go just to say that they were there, or I stood on a building while those people were down there, you know, doing whatever they were doing, and so it's just I don't know, man. The lack of direction is a problem, and so they gotta do their Wakanda thing. They'll get it right. But like I said, Killer Mike actually gave a very solid speech in my opinion. So he said some very interesting things. Um, Unless it gets some likes and views and all that other stuff, So that's the only thing they're ready to do it. So the fucking Ti thing, fucking good grief. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's really crazy. But like I said, looking at it, it looks really weird because again, like I said, I do believe that there are a lot of people who have infiltrated the crowd and are not there for George at all. They're there for an opportunity to run amok. 'Cause, I mean, if you go even look at the Target looting video, and you go look at some other things, the percentages look off to me than the demographic of the people who usually show up when these situations are happening. So again, it's a good time. It's election season. It's a good time. Everything's going crazy. I can kind of slip in here and look like I'm in support of this, that, and the third. I can wreck some shit. I can cause some chaos. We can, whatever you're supporting or whatever you got going on, you maybe get some recognition for it somehow. And like I said, it's a lot of questionable shit going on, man. It's really crazy. I really have a lot of questions about. So I can't look at the damn chance. Yeah, man, it's just I don't know. Something feels off about this. But like I said, what we're gonna do is we also talk about the officer getting arrested, like third-degree murder and a manslaughter charge. A couple of different schools of thought on that. Some people say, "Hey, hit him with a lesser charge. Maybe it'll stick. Maybe you got a better chance of getting third-degree murder stick compared to first-degree murder." I don't even know the difference. It's like a black belt. It's get more degrees or dans on your black belt. I don't know, but you also have just a situation like I say, where yesterday when some people says, "Hey, well, if you stop or if you turn in the officer, you arrest the officer, then the riots will cease." But they haven't. But I'm thinking because of how it was still planned, I'm sure nobody would have said, "Okay, well, we got him, they're canceled." I think the timing was the thing there. We'll see if they continue on until tomorrow. But also going back to the charge, though, other people say, well, they really don't have nothing. This is just something to throw out there, make it look good enough to say that you attempted to do something. Everything falls through. Carry on, my wayward son. Nobody's paying attention anymore. So we'll see how that whole thing turns out. I think I'm with the school of thought that it won't be too much, if anything, which I really don't think it'll be anything. And then I think you're going to have another set of riots occur if he's not found guilty and serving some decent time. So, that's kind of where we at. So, aside from that, like I said, we'll just open up the lines. Give me just a moment, and we'll get your thoughts, your opinions, your views, your what in the what's it? Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Make sure you hit that like button while I'm getting the den line, ready for calls. We greatly appreciate it. And make sure you're following the Den on all the proper social medias if you want to get the notifications when we will be going live. Sometimes I know YouTube does not always provide the notifications in a fashion that is convenient. So if you would like to get it, make sure you're following Ed Honcho HTX on Instagram or Twitter before every live stream. Make sure to post something that lets you know. And if you are a Facebooker, you can go to Den Show Live on Facebook and join the Den Show Live Facebook group and chop it up with some other Den folk. But of all the things I encourage you the most, join the Discord. Shout out to Culture, the Don of the Discord. Always some very intriguing conversations taking place in the Discord when the Den folk get to chat with one another. It really opens up a new avenue of the Den. So if you enjoy the Den conversation, you would definitely enjoy the conversations and just the general chat that goes on in the Den. So I implore you to consider joining it. And the Discord in the Den is absolutely free, so I don't think that's nothing you got to pay for, nothing like that. Let's see. We had a couple extended ends this week, didn't we? Interesting. Come on, I want to play this game with you tonight. Fucking phone dilly dally. I don't want to do that. Let's just cooperate. Let's just be friends. Can we just be friends? All right, yeah, right here. All right, cool. See, you work with me, I work with you. Everything's all good. Give me just one moment. Before we take calls, I want to do one thing. I gotta get a new seat here. This thing is crazy. All right, let me see. Well, that's the problem right there, buddy. Gosh darn it. Oh, there we go. All right. Hello, howdy, people. Good people of the Den. I hope life is treating you well. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot which one it was. It was busting their ass. Yeah. Shout out to Riots. Yeah, I saw that. I forgot. I was trying to remember which video was it. Yeah, they was busting their ass. That's just hilarious. That's all we had to do. If you really want people to social distance, just spank grown-ass people in public and record it and post it on, like, the local government website. And, for fear of embarrassment, people will stay inside of America. That's, pride is a powerful thing. If you can use that as a tool to your benefit, that's how I would do it. Let's see. This never look at what the party period is full effect. Appreciate the love, 335. It's going down. If y'all don't party with the party period, then you are not invited. It's hard to be serious, right? It is extremely hard to be serious with two things that happen in the Den. And I love it, though, right? I love it. It's what makes the Den the Den. One, these things, right? These damn masks. Because as much as you try to be serious, right? As much as you try to be serious, no matter what you're talking, you can't continue to have a serious conversation. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure I probably could. Like, if I wouldn't watch myself, I didn't have, like, I guess, a visual of myself to know that it was happening, but then, I wouldn't know that, certain notification things, so I kind of have to. Then I probably would. But when I see the shit, it's like, it's super fucking funny. And then the other thing is the chat, because the chat is it's pure comedy. It's pure comedy. All right. And let's see, real quick. Let's look, what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Whoa. Is this a sign of a fucking protest? Is this a sign at a fucking protest? And she didn't need to make it because you could tell just by looking at it. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know the YouTube rules and regulations on that. I'm not. I would post it. That's a sketchy one. That's a very borderline, especially in this day and age of YouTube behavior. But I'll definitely post in the Discord. Now, shout out to Professor Trill. Let's get the lines going because it is a terrible night. It started off really good. Professor Trill just showed me something that made it very terrible very quickly. And I know you're like, that's some hoe ass shit. Honcho, I see why Professor Trill call you hoe ass Honcho because you hold us and just left us on the outside of an inside joke on the live stream. Like, we ain't all in here, like we ain't 32 deep, So come kick it in the den with the den folk and you just gonna have an inside joke and not let us in. Well, I apologize, right? But yeah, it was an image of a woman holding a sign, right? And it says, I only, hold on real quick. Hold on one moment. All right, I'll put the call on there and finish the story, then we'll take the call. It says, I only suck black, purple pickle emoji. Yes, I call it the purple pickle emoji. I know it's a fucking eggplant. I can say what I want. But yeah, and has a image of a purple pickle on the poster board, right? And this is the sign that's going on. But what I was saying is that, she really didn't need to make the sign because it was obvious by looking at her. Let's get the first call in. Thank y'all for being in the den this evening. Hit that like button. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. How you doing this evening, Miss Bell? Yeah, and I saw that, and I found that really odd. And I'm sure that they were working maybe in different sections of the venue or whatever it may have been, but you have to cross paths in some fashion. It's just really, like I say, it's just really crazy. This whole thing has a lot of layers to it, and it's all, kind of points to one thing, but it's crazy when some of this stuff unravels. Yes. Would you say that he is one of the bad apples? Hmm. So what do you think? With all this tension, and all this kind of just anger, this kind of just seems to be floating all over the country. Do you think there's a way that a resolution can be had? They've arrested the officer. People are still kind of upset. Do you think there's a way that they can kind of resolve this issue quickly?
I don't have a place in this fight because I grew up being white. And one of the things that I got frustrated with today was, what's the difference between not being non-racist to being anti-racist? And the other question is that, the other loaded question is that, or what was said was if you don't see color, then walk away from that person because they're automatically racist. Now, as being a white person and have said that, my motive comes from the fact that I look at humanity before I look at skin tone. I look at what a person is, behavior, and who they are. However, I am not the average person.
Miss Bell?
Yes?
How has your day been for most of the day today?
Quiet.
Okay. I got to tell you something. You were kind of roamed for most of this call.
I'm what?
You were roamed for most of this call.
Okay.
And so I want to make sure that, the people heard you and definitely got your points up until the point where you were speaking about, not seeing color. Just kind of touching on the fact that they were working together, your thoughts on that, so they may not have heard that clearly. So if you don't mind repeating that, please.
When I say that I don't see color, I see humanity first. I see who they are as human beings. I have friends that are of all different ethnicities and colors and religions and whatever. And I don't judge somebody by what's on their skin. I judge people how they treat me. And we all come to the table with we all prejudge. We all have biases because of our experience. Now, I don't know how to say anymore that that's all I know. But sometimes I feel like I'm punished for the fact that I truly treat people as individuals, and I'm not what people label me as being racist because I'm white, and that sucks.
So how does a person tell? Say, what would your advice be to someone, a POC, if you will, or a black, or however people want to identify? I mean, it's whatever. I don't know. It's always something different. But anyway, how would you tell someone who is not white to identify someone who is an ally to the cause?
It's like anything. They have to prove themselves.
How would you go about that?
It's trust. It's like anything else. I mean, if you go into a new neighborhood, it doesn't matter whether you're black or white. If you go into somewhere new, you have to trust the situation you're walking into. It's built over time. And you're right. White people haven't done everything right. And it's a pitiful state of the situation that it's in. But being destructive doesn't always help the whole. You're making more victims because people are angry, which is justified. But as we've said, hurt people hurt.
I agree. But what I'm trying to figure out is in a situation, right? Because it can be hard to tell. Not everyone who is sympathetic to race relations in this country is going to wear a bright sign or say, hey, this, that, or the third. You just don't know. Some people are very hard to tell. Some people you would think that are friends of yours. I think I've seen lots of posts and people talking about, I thought this person so-and-so is my friend, my buddy, my amigo. They're, reposting things about, he could have breathed or it's his own fault or et cetera, and people are getting upset. And, so it's kind of hard to know, like, what a person genuinely thinks, if they're, like I said, supportive or not. Like, so what advice would you give someone who is a minority as far as identifying whether or not a white person is sympathetic to their cause?
Okay, first of all, when I hear blanket statements as you all, it's just as offensive to white people as it is, I'm assuming, to black people, because I've heard people say that they're offended by that. We don't like the blanket statement of you white people because we're still individuals. And as I've heard on this program at different times, people have said, just because I'm black doesn't mean I vote that way or doesn't mean I do that. It's the same thing with white people. Just because we're white doesn't mean we sympathize with the frickin' cop who was an asshole. It's treating people as individuals, not as a cultural whole, and taking it by person and not blanketing by saying, oh, all these are all that. Because that's lumping everybody in together, and that's not an accurate perception. It may be, it's bandwagoning and giving guilt to everybody that's there that may not be guilty. And it happens on the other side of the fence that all people do it, and that's where the prejudice comes in. And it's a fact of trying not to prejudge people and just letting them earn the trust. However, police are different because they are trained to look for certain things. I'm not saying, and I do not condone the behavior of that officer. I do not condone the behavior of anyone who has killed somebody. However, their job is to maintain peace. What happened was an atrocity, and it shouldn't have happened. People overreact. All cases. I'm not trying to stick up for white people. I'm just trying to let you know that I care about all communities. And I'm not going to tell you I care about everybody because people have screwed me over. However, as individuals, I'd like to still be able to trust the fact that people can be human and make mistakes.
I agree. I have a question for you, Ms. Bell.
Sure.
So you talked about, not trusting, people who have killed. You said, a couple of days ago, you kind of listened to some Jay-Z to kind of get a little bit more familiar with his music. Did you come across a song, I don't know if you remember, maybe listen to a song called Renegade?
No.
Okay, well, this is a song that Eminem did a feature with Jay-Z. And Eminem killed Jay-Z on that feature. I was kind of hoping you had heard it because I had another reference to make with that. But it all kind of ties in. But never mind, I apologize because I was really counting on maybe you had heard the song, so it would make a little bit more sense. But again, like I say, it's kind of confusing. I think that's the issue because what I get from what you're saying and what we're saying, or what I'm thinking, just putting myself in the shoes of somebody who may be offended by certain things, and figuring out, well, how do I know that you're really on my side, or how do I know that you're against what I am, or how do I know that you're nonchalant? You don't really give a fuck either way. You don't give a damn. And so I think that's the issue a lot of people have, right? And a lot of people think that certain people may have certain beliefs, and if this person doesn't think exactly along the lines as me, then we can't be friends, and all this stuff. And I think it's a lot of that. And I think a lot of people interpret it as racist, but I think people are raised different ways. And again, and I think you see it throughout different races having different beliefs and things too. So, I mean, I think, like you said, generalizing and kind of labeling everybody is kind of bad for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where we maybe have to work on, like I say, being. But it's actually more difficult to be specific. Like you said, to kind of focus on each and every individual being an individual. It takes more time, more effort. It's easier just to generalize. Like, so how could we fix that? How do you think maybe we can resolve that to get to know people for who they are better, but still, cover issues that impact all of us?
I don't have an answer. I wish I did. And I'm more hurt than I am angry about anything. I'm saddened that a life was lost. From what I've come to understand is that he was a father and possibly a grandfather. No life that's lost is innocent at the hand of violence, no matter what color they are. I've told all of you today is actually the 1-year anniversary of my husband's death.
Yes, it is.
And thank you. Very early on in our relationship, we were a very young couple. And my husband grew up in Mobile, Alabama in the 50s and 60s. And when he was in high school, he actually had to go across the street from where he was working and go to the back door in order to get his boss coffee. He was not allowed to walk through the front door to pick up an order for his boss that was white.
That's wild.
My husband has scars on his arm from hot tar from being abused.
Yeah.
My husband was in the race riots in 1967 in Detroit. When he was 17 and went to work for General Motors and lived through that. And I won't even tell you about the stories. My sister-in-law got killed on senior sneak night in 1965. And because all the people in the car were black, they never investigated the accident.
Wow.
So please don't misunderstand that I don't know. Because I do. And human beings are all fallible. But when we make blanket statements of this group or that group, it takes away from individuals doing fucked up shit and lack of ownership and accountability. And the reason they probably went with a third-degree manslaughter is because it was the only charge that they probably knew that they could actually get to fit. If they went any higher, they may have blown the case completely, and they're only going to do something that they can get a guaranteed conviction for. Prepaid probably knows a little bit more about that, and that's pretty much all I got to say. That's why I get really upset about the Karen shit, because y'all don't know what I've been through.
Okay. That's crazy because it doesn't seem like it's been a year. So again, we are with you. I know it can be tough, especially on the anniversary. We're happy to have you here. We're glad you've been with us, Ms. Bell.
Thank you. And to watch another black man die is it's sad.
It is.
All right, let's hear from the rest of them, and I'm going back to what I do best, being quiet tonight.
All right. Well, the bell has rung. Class is in session. I thank you for calling in and sharing your thoughts with us, Ms. Bell.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good evening.
You too.
What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Bill the Bird Boy.
Bill the Bird. How you doing this evening, sir?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Oh man, everything's good. No complaints. No complaints at all. What are your thoughts this evening on kind of what's going on around the states?
Well, first of all, I want to touch on that T.I. situation.
Okay.
T.I. is another woke Negro trying to stay relevant. Nobody's buying his music. Nobody cares about his podcast. And this is the only way he can stay relevant. He has nothing to say. What are you talking about, Wakanda?
Correct.
What are you talking about? He doesn't have any kind of solutions or end game or resolutions, anything to add to the conversation. So why is he even there?
Correct.
So I've been watching the news today. I seen some white males, so-called white males, breaking glass at Target, at the auto zone over there. I mean, we all know George Soros busts people in all the time. We all know this. Even I believe the police captain said that a lot of people that were looting were not from that area.
Yeah.
So it's more like a order out of chaos thing. That's what they're looking to do. And sooner or later, you're gonna have martial law over there if they don't get things under control. Now, the reason they gave that cop third-degree murder, that's only a statute in, I think, about 3 states. I think Florida, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania, and maybe New Mexico. First degree, I don't think they would get first degree because you got to plot to get first degree. Like, you got to actually be in somebody's garbage can waiting for them to come home and then murder them to get first degree murder. So they're definitely not going to give them first degree. Second degree, I don't think they can get second degree either. I forgot what the statute is for that. But they definitely can get them on third degree murder. So it's called a deprived heart murder. I'm actually looking it up now. Yeah, it's called a deprived heart murder. But yeah, man, I don't really know what to say, man. I see so many. I see Colin Kaepernick. I call him Coward Kaepernick. Of course, like I said, he don't come from behind the curtain. He stays on social media. He's a social justice media. He's a warrior. You know what I'm saying? Like, brother, show your face. You know what I'm saying? He grew out a fro, grabbed a black jacket out his closet, and put on a Huey P. Newton uniform, basically. That's all he did. What has he actually done? A lot of people follow Colin Kaepernick. He never wanted to go back into the NFL. To keep it real, he gets more money from Nike than he does from the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. By far.
He's a corporate control athlete. He's no different than LeBron James, who's a fake politician. They're no different. If it's going to mess up their money, let me tell you, if they were going to do, they're not doing anything counterculture. They're not saying or doing anything counterculture. If they were saying something counterculture, like Manny Pacquiao said, you know, he doesn't believe in homosexuality, and Nike dropped him. You know, if they were coming out saying, hey, don't pump this shit into the black community, the so-called black community, they're not doing that.
No.
They're in a safe space.
Speaking of that, not to steer the conversation off track, but yeah, speaking of some of these athletes and things, and I saw a picture the other day of D Wade, and he gone and fucking dyed his hair, like his kid.
Oh my God!
And some red shit, some like bright red shit, like his kid did, and they got mad about, I guess, some other celebrity. I can't.
I said D Wade was going to be the first black Bruce Jenner, like 2 years ago. First of all, you do know. So they moved to California about a year or two ago. They Luciferians, man. They Luciferians. Anytime you try to push your son, this whole gender thing, like, why we gotta know what's going on in your house, man? Exactly. You know, you sharing that with the world, like that's nothing they really share with the world. Like, what is that to really be proud of? If I got 2 daughters, I wouldn't be proud if they were prostitutes.
No.
You know, I wouldn't come out and say, hey, Ellen, you know, my daughter's out here sleeping with every man on the street. Like, that's nothing to be proud of. The problem is, in our community, I don't know, were you raised in a 2-parent household or a single-parent household?
Till about 9, our parents were together. They divorced when I was about 9, 10 years old.
But your dad was in your life?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I can tell. You know why? Because you're a lion, like me. We got too many hyenas around us. If you know anything about hyenas, they live in a matriarch program where the female is in charge of the clan. With lions, they take over prize. They even kill the young of the other lion.
Yeah.
These guys like Dwayne Wade, they're hyenas. But LeBron James, they're emotional. Most of them, and it's really crazy to me because Dwayne Wade went to live with his daddy for like a good part of his life. But I really think he flipped the script when he got married to Gabrielle Union, man.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, ever since then, it just seemed like a lot of things changed from the fashion sense, and then it slowly got stranger and stranger from there. Her coming out on some of these different podcasts and saying some of the things she said about their, intimate relations and all that kind of shit. It's just like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, then she talking about she tried to break up Stephen Curry and his wife. Like, man, that's when you gotta put hands on somebody. Like, you talking crazy.
Yeah, and I just saw she was.
Huh?
I saw she's out there now. Aisha?
Aisha?
Yeah, I heard she's taking bikini pictures and shit now, and
well, I seen that, and she was one of the women that said she don't like showing her body.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. People just be saying
people, shit. And you got our people glorify athletes and celebrities, man. They glorify them. For what?
No.
What are you glorifying?
No.
You can marvel at their talent, but don't worship them.
Yeah.
First of all, they don't live nowhere near you. Okay, you remember LeBron James said that somebody spray painted nigga on his fence?
Yeah.
We never even see where's the if he lives in Calabasas, brother. You know how many cameras are in Calabasas? Where's the proof? He didn't even see it himself.
Yeah.
He just took the word of some people that were supposedly at his house. This is all about promoting them as the new Muhammad Ali of this era. They're not Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali belonged to a separatist group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He had beliefs. He studied the Quran. I bet you neither one of these jokers can even give you a line out of the Quran. But they're talking about Muhammad Ali. I think that I feel bad for the people in that area. I seen the whole thing in Atlanta where they took over CNN. They should take CNN over because it's fake news anyway.
No.
But they spray painting these are the monsters. They created this Frankenstein, believe it or not. This is Dr. Frankenstein getting attacked by Frankenstein. Because they created these woke liberals, feed into their feeling. Nobody cares about how you feel, man. The truth is objective, not subjective. Nobody cares about how you feel about stuff. I had a discussion with my cousin today. He refuses to think on a three-dimensional level, even though he can if he uses the other part of his brain, because a lot of stuff that we talk about, he also agrees with. But he'll say, "Oh, that's the white narrative." Brother, the truth is not white and black, brother. It's not white and black. The truth is the truth, whether you like to hear it or not.
Correct.
And our people don't like to hear the truth, man. We emotional. We're people of emotion.
I agree.
They want a hug from the white liberal. Okay, that's why they really mad at Trump, because he came between that hug. Okay, they want a hug from the white liberal. They searching for equality. There's no two things equal in the universe. You can't name one. You can't name two things that's equal in the universe. But other than that, I just, enjoying the show, man. Peace. I want to say shout out to the brother John. I think John from New York.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he gave me a shout out last night.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay, all right, well, man, it was a great call. Like I said again, another call. I can't disagree with you. And like I say, when we're gonna have to have one of them discussions, y'all. One of those discussions that causes the channel to lose some subscribers, but it's about that time. It's a new quarter, so I definitely hope you'll be available.
Well, I think I would, I don't know if you ever thought about it, but if you could do something for the so-called for the so-called black man, just have a discussion of brothers discussing things, because we got a generation of young males coming up now, young men, young males. Okay, they grew up in these emotional single parent households, and they don't know how to deal with their feelings, man. I see it all the time with the shootings and everything. Nobody even talk about that no more. Nobody talk about Chicago.
Yeah. That's true. In Chicago still.
And you have to address the issues amongst your people, man. We gotta have some self accountability first. Before you can be accepted, you got to get a culture, man. You can't have pop culture is not a culture. That's not a culture. That's a liberal culture. It's not a black culture.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm from the era of hip hop, real hip hop. So I know, we used to really talk about real things. They don't talk about nothing but money, chicks, and murder, basically.
Yeah.
A bunch of degenerates, man. Another thing we got to do is we got to get the OGs out of here. We got to have some elders again.
Yeah.
Okay, you done replace the elders with OGs. OGs make big mistakes in their life. They might be able to tell you about it later on. We need elders, people who can raise from the ground up, man. But anyway, Honcho, I ain't gonna hold you up, man. I know I'm gonna get some hate in the chat room. That's cool with me. Eagles don't worry about the quibbles of ants. So.
Alrighty, man. Bilderberg, I appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to talking to you again real soon, man.
All right, my brother.
All right, you have a good one. I have no disagreements. And I'm looking forward to the next call. Also, what's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
This is Dan, bro.
Dan, the motherfucking man. Hold on one second, Dan. Ray, I see you. I've been watching. You've been making some very good points. But yes, you still look like fucking Jeff Saturday, Ray. So that's all I got to say about that. All right. Dan, what's on your mind this evening? Dan, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right. I just finished some math homework. I got to work on my economy stuff tomorrow. I'll try to knock that out before Sunday when it's due. I'll be all right. Saw my niece this afternoon. You know, her crazy ass. I love her. All that good stuff.
Excellent.
So yeah, it was all right there. You know, cook some fish.
Okay. What kind of fish you cook?
Tilapia. It was on sale. It was good. I threw some lemon and some garlic on it. It was all right. George Foreman grill, man. I ain't bullshit.
No, shit, I ain't never threw the tilapia on the Foreman. I throw a bunch of shit on the Foreman. I ain't never done that. But yeah, the lemon, the garlic, that's how I rock with it. Okay. That's what's up. So, what's on your mind this evening about, kind of the events that have been taking place around the country?
Well, first off, the gentleman who just called, he spoke some truth, man. Absolute truth. Bilderberg, I think it was?
Yes, sir.
Hey, shout out to Bilderberg, man. That's some real talk. I don't like hyping people up, but he was being completely honest about things. The emotionalism in the community, the lack of men, just males now, worshiping these pop figures, this culture, which I've spoke about. And, I know he's mentioned people ain't talking about Chicago. What? Shoot, I was talking about Chicago last time I called. Oh, the murders there, 193 murders, I believe in 2020 alone. Which eclipses the amount of black people killed by police by like twice. And then someone yesterday mentioned, well, that's just black people shot by the police. Well, black people killed altogether. Okay, let's double the number of black people killed from 31 so far to 62, I mean. There's still 193 murders in one city.
Yeah, that's wild.
In 2020, and 5 months, it's May now? I mean, the cognitive dissonance is amazing. And I've experienced it. Look, there was a point in my life where I made excuses for this violence. I didn't know the statistics of it. And it was a bit painful to break out of that, to break out of, making excuses for people who honestly never give a fuck about me. Because I went to school with a lot of hood rats, and they made my life fucking hell, bro. So why am I trying to defend this mentality, these kinds of people who will belittle people who are just trying to learn? Raise your hands in class. Things that kids are supposed to do in school. These are the people that these kids bully. Probably because half of them can't read. It's insane. But that's just my childhood traumas talking. Let's move on to I got a story, actually.
Okay.
So there's a man, KB Balla, in Minneapolis. He's a firefighter. His wife, Tawana, and their 4 kids. They're living in Minneapolis. He's a firefighter, by the way, so he's probably busy this week. Just saying. He owned a bar. Keyword is owned in Minneapolis. They looted, vandalized, and destroyed that bar on the 27th. A black-owned business in Minneapolis looted and destroyed. I mention that because some jackanape, some ass, had the audacity to say that, well, if you put up a minority-owned business sign, they won't mess with you. It's just the white businesses they're after, the big businesses. These people are fucking stupid. They're stupid. That's it. So this man lost this entire business that his life savings was into. And then when the news people were interviewing with somebody, looters came back in and tried to steal his safe.
Wow.
On camera. Yeah, KB Balla, Scores Sports Bar. Now they started a GoFundMe. I'm looking at it right now. Out of the $100,000 goal, they've quadrupled that. So I think they'll be all right. But so good for them. I'm glad to hear that. But here's the thing, though. It should never came to that.
Correct.
And that's not the only business that got destroyed. That AutoZone got burned down, there's a bunch of jobs gone. That Target got burned down, there's a bunch of jobs gone. And then some other idiot will say something like, well, insurance will cover that. Why would insurance cover you rebuilding in that same area just for some more shit to pop up the next time someone gets killed by a cop? They're not going to cover everything unless you move, so those jobs are lost. There are places in this country that had riots hit 40 years ago, 20 years ago. Parts of LA, they got burned to shit. In the black communities. Never recovered.
Yeah.
Detroit, someone mentioned, Louis mentioned that there's riots in the 50s and 60s, and he's absolutely right about that. And a lot of those places never recovered. Look at parts of Detroit; it looks like the fucking Serengeti. Just wild vegetation everywhere, dilapidated housing. The vegetation's growing in the housing. It's amazing. And this is the community that we're supposed to defend. So I've come up with something. I'm not defending anyone but Daniel, right?
Correct.
I don't have to speak for black people. It is not my job to defend black people. Nothing. I have to defend myself. I have to take care of myself and the people I love. Because you got men like this guy who's a firefighter serving his community, 4 kids, a beautiful wife, and they burn his shit down. Now if there was a Hispanic guy, a Muslim guy, an Asian guy, a gay guy, I'd still be mad about it. But when I see the pictures of this man, his wife, and their kids, and he's in a firefighter, And it just like, this is a good man, and they destroy his shit, bro. That infuriates me.
And that's the thing, you know, because you have that narrative of, oh, we're only doing this and doing that. And again, you have things like this. And once you started running in a building, you can tell, okay, well, this obviously must be, you know, the owner or something. He's black. Oh, well, this isn't the guy we're after. And I actually heard that several small businesses in the area, you know, they just don't mention those because the names don't resonate nationally. So they just said there's several small businesses that were getting burned, but you don't hear about that. So it's not just the big stores. A lot of these small businesses that already just went through the pandemic, couldn't make any money. You kind of get rolling again a little bit, then shit, you should get burnt down and looted. You know, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Now, I don't know the demographics of all the rioters and looters. I got a feeling, though. You know I'm going to go with it. But I did see some other types out there. These looks like these youthful white college kids, all that goofy shit. Probably some Antifa members, you know, ready to riot, down with the establishment, you know, socialism for all that stuff. Let me tell these young white liberals something. These goons that you're caping for, not George Floyd, okay? These goons that you're riding with and caping for, given the opportunity, they would rob you blind. Okay, I don't know why these white liberals try to defend this behavior. You don't see these white liberals protesting while the black violence community is done by black people. But the minute that they smell a white cop did something, a white security guard did something, or a non-white in general, I mean, you know, just like a Hispanic, like George Zimmerman, they'll come running on Twitter, they'll protest, riot, but everyone's silent when it comes to these kids getting killed, when it comes to these young women getting killed, when it comes to these young men getting killed, about to go off to college. Oh, no, you're not going to his funeral now. There's a story in Florida, a young man who was about to go to college for like a football degree, he got killed at a funeral for someone else that got killed.
Wow.
Yeah, all black. And it's Florida, so I'm not surprised. No, shout out to Florida. I have nothing else to say about this community, man. I think I might be done calling in. What else can I say, bro?
I mean,
you know,
it's tough, man, because you want people to realize, and I understand, he said, the cognitive dissonance can be very tough. You know, you've been grown up or you've been taught one way for so long. Everybody in your family operates one way. And, you know, you start seeing the truth, but you don't want to believe it. And people chastise you or ostracize you for starting to think different or view things differently. You know, and it can be tough, especially in the black community. I had a situation where I was having a conversation with a stranger, and I just started bringing up topics that we have in the den, like things that you're probably not supposed to talk to strangers about that you don't fucking know. Just kind of see how they're gonna react. I don't give a shit, you know. I'm just putting some things out there to see what's going on, and it was just really interesting. You know what I'm saying? It was just the perception. You know, his thoughts on Trump and some other things. It was just like, wow, really? It's almost like it's cut and paste for some reason. And again, I'm not faulting anybody. If you are truly, you know, believe in whatever you believe in, man, run with that shit 100%. But again, like I say, most of the time when you ask people certain things, why they don't do this or whatever, well, it's because of some reason that really doesn't hold water. And so again, like I say, you know, it's an issue, but people got to make their own choice for whatever reason I guess they value, so I guess it is what it is. But I wish people would kind of think a little bit differently. It would be life-changing.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because I had a conversation, too, with somebody recently. This person actually I've known for about 2-3 years now. And this is when I was in California for a little bit, a female friend of mine. So she sent me this flyer about, like, a rally that they're doing in California. A bunch of women getting together to speak for the black community on the police violence. And when she sent me this flyer, I said, like, so it's a bunch of women speaking for the black community. And I at first thought, why can't the black community speak for the black community in a constructive manner? You know, use political resources. Like, this is my issue with some of the liberal mindset. They think you niggers are stupid. That's it. That's why they have to speak for you. And yeah, I used the hard ER. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. They think you African Americans are stupid. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend nobody. At this point, I don't care. And I explained to her, I'm like, look, the black community should be speaking for themselves. We've been here hundreds of years. We can't speak for ourselves now. I told her, look, your main concern right now, in this time of these viruses flying around and riots and forest fires and all this crazy shit, is to make sure your son's all right. I'll take care of myself. She tried to speak for me at one point. I'm like, look, Daniel will take care of Daniel.
Yeah.
You don't have to speak for me. I said it in a nice manner. I didn't want to offend her because we're friends. I just wanted to know, like, look, bro, you go do what you're going to do. I appreciate the thought, but I don't need you to fight for me.
Correct.
I'll fight for myself. I've never been pulled over by a cop before in my life because I followed the speed limit, all the other stuff. But what happened to Mr. Floyd, I don't even know the details. And I'm definitely not saying he deserved what happened to him. I don't think he did. Not at all. You know. But it's like, this is what happens. So, like, if you denounce people who do the rioting, people automatically look like, oh, so you found with cops killing black people. No. It's these Twitter these check marks on Twitter, that whole mindset, that group. And there's someone on YouTube, too. YouTube is definitely, look, I'm just done with this mindset, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned about me and my people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because, like I said, and the thing is, and I inquired with Miss Bell in the first call and asked, you know, well, how as a black person or minority do you tell, you know, a white person who's an ally? But it's almost the same thing. Like, if you think a little bit differently, if you may not be, you know, falling in line with the status quo, and it's not saying that you're going out hating and even shitting on anybody, but just because you say, hey, you know, I don't think that way. I think a little bit differently, or, you know, or like I said, I've got some flavor saying I don't hate Trump. Like, I don't love him. I'm not a Trumper or, you know, MAGA or anything like that. I just, you know, hey, I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. I don't see the big deal. Like, I don't feel like he came and ruined my life anyway, but nothing's changed, you know. So it's just that people will get upset with you about that. Like, if you're not blaming him for every problem you never fucking had, then you're the bad guy. And so again, like I say, the mentality that people have adopted these last few years, it's confusing. And so just like you can't tell, you know, who's an ally on that side, you don't know who aligns with your beliefs as a black person if you think a little bit more conservatively. Like, you get ostracized.
Yeah. It's unfortunate it comes out, but it's been like that for a while, so I'm not surprised. That's what was cute to myself, man. And, you know, sometimes I might call in, you know, spit some, so it's what I believe is truth. But like I said, the truth is the truth, and a lot of people try to change the truth to their own means. That's why they're reading stats and stories and things that can't be proven factual, like the story I read about Mr. Balla. You see the pictures of his burned down store.
Yeah.
Them hood rat dudes burned down his shit.
Twirling my white dreads and all these SHANIGANS.
They're not white stats. It's not a government conspiracy to paint the black man as a violent savage. Some of y'all are doing that yourselves. right. Oh, man.
Appreciate
that's all I got, man. That's all I got, bro.
Damn.
I done dropped the hard ER and everything. I don't went in this call, bro.
Oh man, and that's the funny thing, because people who may not be familiar with Dan are probably really confused. Like, whoa, what just happened here?
Well, Look, I am a Negro. I am a black American male Negro, whatever you want to call me. Some of y'all call me a tap dance and jigaboo right now, and that's fine too. I don't care. Go take it to Twitter. I don't give a fuck. I'm not on Twitter. I don't give a fuck, bro. People need to be honest with themselves and about the real situation going on. But people like to live in that little comfortable echo chamber where all your thoughts are bouncing around together. And I used to live in an echo chamber, but I got the fuck out.
Yeah, you got people sitting there
So
trying
that's
to
just,
reinforce those beliefs all day long, and you know, just reiterate it back and forth, and, you know, spew that shit on each other. And then, you know, even people who may not say go fully embrace a different mindset, but when they start just thinking about things differently, they start finding things work. But I mean, everybody who's ever done anything basically says the same thing, and so that's why I don't get why people don't realize. You just got to change your mindset, and you'll see change will come.
Yeah, first off, stop blaming everyone else for your problems. Sometimes you caused your own problems. That's something took me a while to understand. Sometimes you are the cause of your problems, and guess what? You might have the solution for them if you go that far to analyze yourself enough to do it. But a lot of people don't. They don't.
Right.
You know, the guy who doesn't have money didn't realize maybe I shouldn't be keeping impregnating women. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I ain't got no cash on me. Oh, wait, here comes another child support payment I got to do. This is the 5th one this month. That kind of shit. It's insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. That's it. And that's all I got, Honcho. I don't want to hold the line any longer. Have a good night, sir.
All right, Dan the man, I appreciate the call, sir.
All right. Hey, chat, the Jigaboo's hanging up. You have a good night.
What could he? What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Hey, Honcho, it's Rio Talk.
Rio Talk, what's the motherfucking deal? How are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay.
We have to admit something, though.
Okay, what's up?
The riots are working.
The riots are working. Okay, why do you feel that way?
Because we're still talking about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you think...
I hate to admit this, but unless we do violent things in our country, we don't focus on it.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Like, if these were just simple, quiet protests of them marching down the road, of them screaming, you know, don't shoot, hands up, or something like that, we might report on it. We might talk about it for a day, but we wouldn't be on the third day straight.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
So we have to admit the riots are working. The other thing we need to admit is that you secretly like white women.
What?
Come on, you always leave it on Lamp Betty behind you.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, no, that's definitely not the way to go. No, man, I just find that funny, man, because that clip was it was so fucking funny. I was laughing about it this morning. Actually, I didn't change the background on the thing. It was still up, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna leave it up. No. Lamp.
We all know subconsciously you like the white woman. Right.
Lucy with the lamps. That actually got nothing for me. Appreciate the love, right? Oh man.
Riot Tackle where's my money, botch? JK.
But it's sad that we have to go to violence to actually get people to actually want to talk about shit. And I know people are gonna be like, well, Martin Luther King didn't. No, Martin Luther King didn't have to go to violence because he knew that if they all got together and started walking on the street, the police would go to violence. It's not like it was back then.
Correct.
So yeah, the sad thing is, unless there's violence involved, we won't really talk about it.
I agree. Yeah, if there's some time, and I wonder why it's like that. I guess maybe the threat of danger, the loss of life or injury or whatever it is. I guess when you think about it in a different light, maybe it lingers more, or that shock factor, or whatever it may be.
Or it's the fact that it's how American society is.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, if you go to other countries, like go to Germany, and you turn on the TV, and you're watching regular German whatever, you'll see nudity, you'll see all this other shit on regular TV. But you know what you won't see?
What's that?
Blood, guts, and gore. Because to them, blood, guts, and gore is on a worse standard than nudity.
Is it?
So because America is so invested in blood, guts, and gore,
Correct.
we get desensitized to it. So unless it's happening, we don't care.
Yeah, we're gonna take a poll. But that's crazy, actually. Now that you put it like that, people would think that blood and guts are, well, to us Americans, that we would think that blood and guts are, not as bad as someone getting fully naked. I mean, but everybody, I guess, has a body. I don't think everybody goes around seeing everybody getting exploded, but I guess it's just the way it is. So At this point, what are your thoughts on the officer who was arrested? Do you think that these charges will stick? Do you think they're just throwing something at the wall? What do you think happens at this point?
Okay, so that's the reason why, after I heard what charges they were, you saw what I did. I looked up the charges. I looked up the statutes in Minnesota, because that's where it's happening. And I looked up how the law is written, and I sent it to you, right?
Yes, sir.
I even sent you what the charges are. So because the way they're written, they might actually stick. Now, the reason why I say might is because you never know how a jury's going to vote.
Correct.
So, but I do actually believe that they might actually stick. Now, everyone, before you get mad, oh, they're only charging him with manslaughter, or they're only charging him with this degree or that degree. You have to read the law and how it's written before you can determine why they're charging him the way they're charging him. Now, do I believe the others should also be charged? The other 3 cops? Yes, they should be. They should all be charged with manslaughter. Because if you read the law, technically they all were culpable to manslaughter.
Right.
Any other questions for me?
What do you think happens? You know, because the belief was maybe, hey, if the officer gets arrested, the riots will kind of taper down. But it doesn't look like that's happening. It looks like actually, things are picking up. Different cities across America have had, protests. Some of them solely for George Floyd. Some of them for, I believe, named Breonna Thomas, and there was another name that they were saying that happened recently. And it slips my mind, but. Multiple names and things, and people are feeling anger. They're seeing this stuff on TV. People are reacting angrily. They feel like they want to go out and react angrily. Do you think that this thing tapers off? Will more of the National Guard need to be called in at other sites, or what do you think happens?
Thing that always happens. Eventually, it will slowly taper off. I'm not going to say it's going to taper off by tomorrow, but eventually it will slowly taper off. We'll slowly forget it ever happened, and in a few months from now, we'll be right back at the situation.
Because the cycle just starts over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't care if you want to say, oh, it's because, only black people do race riots. I don't care if you want to say it's this or that. It's just a cycle. I hate to say it, but it's just a cycle. It's no different than school shooting. It's a fucking cycle. It happens, people get mad, people say shit, and that'll go on for a few weeks. People slowly forget, and then it happens again. And it's all back over. It's a fucking cycle. Now, how you break the cycle? That I couldn't tell you. And to everyone who keeps bringing up, oh, black people on black and black crime, you know what? Shut the fuck up about that shit. And here's the reason why. A civilian killing another civilian is not a trained officer killing a civilian. A trained officer is trained to de-escalate the situation. A civilian is not personally trained to de-escalate a situation.
True.
A police officer is also trained not to let their emotions take over while they're in a situation. Does it always happen? No. Does a police officer still respond in their emotions? Yes. But they're still trained. So there is a difference.
Okay. I mean, that's absolutely true. And I can, that's why I say I can understand the outrage. I can understand the anger. And yeah, I definitely get it. You know, as far as you keep seeing these things, and again, whether I agree or disagree that all of them are on the same caliber as this one to me was especially egregious. Just because of,
Actually, I think there's something worse, more egregious than this that no one really ever talked about.
what's that?
I sent it to you on your Discord. Just read the headline. Just read it out loud.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I remember when that happened a little while back. What did ever follow up after that? 'Cause he should at least got compensated or something.
I mean, he should have got compensated, yes, but the cop should have immediately been fired, should have been charged with a bunch of shit. But nothing happened.
Yeah, that was the article was the caregiver a while back that had the autistic patient, and the patient was kind of out in the middle of the road, so he was trying to talk to him, basically help to get him to come back to the facility, and they fired upon him and shooting him.
The police officers, the police show up. They tell him to get down. He lays down, puts his hands up, and says he tells the cops, the individual next to me is special needs. He doesn't understand. Please don't shoot. And the cops shoot the guy laying on the ground.
Yes.
That's more egregious to me.
But is it because he didn't die?
No, it's not that he didn't die. The reason why it's more egregious to me is that nothing happened.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, is it that was it not because he lived? You know, people get shot, and it's not as big as losing his life. He gets to live another day. So people maybe didn't feel the need to riot. He can speak for himself. You know, he's still alive. So maybe people didn't want to back that one, or people didn't choose to back them, which I feel like it should be, because that is, I mean, every incident that is on a level like that, when a person is doing nothing but their job, and then fuck around and get shot. You know, it should be.
What happened was, after that happened, peaceful protests popped up. Because I'm pretty sure you remember all the little peaceful protests that popped up afterwards. That went on for about a week. That got like maybe 10 minutes of airtime. And the cycle started over. But no one really talked about it other than when the news kind of showed the peaceful protest. Because the protests weren't getting violent.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Well, again, like I say, it's a confusing situation, because if you feel like you have a message that you're trying to get heard, people saying, well, you can't do it this way, you shouldn't do it that way, and it seems like if you take the peaceful way, people have a problem with it. If you take a violent way, people have a problem with it. So if a person has an issue, how are they supposed to get the message out? I mean, I'm pretty sure they want to do something more powerful than just tweet about it. Nobody wants to be what do they call it?
Okay, everyone has their opinion on Kaepernick. Everyone has their opinion on his kneeling. But why is his kneeling always brought up? Why? Do you know?
No, why do you feel like it's brought up?
Because it shocked the world.
But that's the thing. What was so special about his kneeling when other players had been, doing the same thing?
I'm not talking about him personally. I'm not talking about him personally. I'm talking about what he did. Him refusing to stand and sitting down at first, talking to a Green Beret, and then kneeling, shocked the world. It had nothing to do with who he is. Had nothing to do with what he was saying. Had everything to do with what he did. And that's the thing about protest. If it's a simple protest, it's not going to shock anyone. It's not going to get any real attention. But if you do something that's egregious in your protest, that causes a controversy in your protest, it will constantly be talked about.
I mean,
You didn't think about it like that, have you?
no, I mean, it's that's a very interesting perspective. Do you think that he should be speaking now at the time that is? Should this be the time that he kind of capitalizes on that message that he's been putting out for years now?
Okay, so if he did that, if he started speaking, like Eric Reed, Eric Reed right now. Have you seen his Twitters? Have you seen how he's been talking about all this going on right now?
But I mean, like, should he be like on the front lines? I mean, would this be an opportunity to kind of put some of this stuff in action? Do you think people
away from it?
But do you think people would listen? Because right now it seems like people are just kind of willy-nilly. If a guy like Colin, who they have made the face of, kind of civil rights in the modern era, if he showed up on the front lines, do you think he would have the ability to get people to kind of organize and strategize, maybe cut out some of the nonsense and return to peaceful protesting?
And if he did that, the media would stop talking. Again, like I said, unless it's egregious and causing a controversy, the American population won't care. So if Kaepernick did get in front of TVs, get all these protests together, could march on Capitol Hill, no one really would care. Because it would be some Saturday where nothing really happened. Because there was no violence, or there was no things to get the attention. There was just some people talking and making a scene.
Okay.
So I mean, he could. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be a good idea. I'm just saying the majority of the American people, will not care enough to stay tuned.
I mean, it makes sense. I think that you're absolutely right on that. We need drama. It has to have excitement. It has to have special effects and fireworks, to keep our attention. So if it's not enough drama going on with it, we definitely won't pay attention.
So if he did do what you just said, got all these protests together, got them all organized, and they all became peaceful, would you be talking about it right now on the bin?
Depends on how slow of a night it was.
You see, you just made my own point.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, like I say, it just, I don't know. I mean, he's done a lot of talking over the years. I think, maybe to actually, for those people who support his movement, to get out there and put some feet on the ground, I think would be some very powerful optics, if you will. So,
it would be powerful optics. It would be. For the initial, look what he's doing. And then it would be like, who cares?
But I believe you're absolutely right. I agree with you on that, man. I don't doubt that at all. Okay. Anything else that's on your mind there, Mr. Real Top?
No, I'm good.
All right.
It doesn't know that you like the white woman.
I'm gonna try to get the number for anytime I'm in Minnesota. I'll be on the look for, I'm looking for Lucy with the lamps. Tell the Honchos trying to holler.
All right. Night on, Joe.
All right, that's Barry Time. Have a good evening, sir. Thanks for calling. I promise, maybe tomorrow, maybe over the weekend sometime, I'm I'm stop being lazy. I'm tighten this chair up. No matter, I'm still too fucking fat to be in this chair. I've definitely exceeded the weight limit. I'm gonna buy a heavier weight limit chair so I don't fall off. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Man, it's your boy Roman.
Roman. Well, Roman, what if you call somebody Roman and said, hey, they said, hey, who is this? You said, hey, it's your boy Roman. They said, no, you're not my boy Roman. How would you feel about that?
Nah, man, they look. I'm OG in the game. I've been
Okay.
in the den for too long. It's cool. You know me. Everybody knows me. I'm always gonna be everybody.
Okay. Everybody know me.
Nah.
It's like I'm a smoothie star.
Nah, hey, look, man. If you don't fuck with me, yeah, it's up to you, man. Shit, I don't fuck with you. Fuck me, fuck you.
Okay. I can respect it, man. What's on your mind this evening, Roman?
Man, I'm been good, Honcho, man. Just, cool with this topic right now. I mean, it's everywhere, Honcho. You can't really get through it. You get what I mean? And what you see, I'm gonna be honest with you, Honcho. This is how I feel, and people don't agree with it. Hey, man, I don't disagree with you, man. Everybody's gonna have the right to their opinion. But, when I look at these protests, Honcho, what I see people that are just, they're just upset, man. Most people are just upset, they're distraught, they're angry. You get what I mean? And I feel it. And now, I'm not saying, now, this is how I feel. Some people are going into personal gain. Some people are just doing the looting just to loot and don't care about George Floyd and his death. Some people are. I'm not one of the people that says everybody's going out there to really protest. That is not true. Okay, I've seen a whole black dude with about good 5 Jack Daniels, good 2 Hennessy's, 1 Alizé in his pocket. I'm not playing. All the his pants.
I was going down at that nigga house.
Some people, you seen that picture, Hunter?
I hadn't seen it, but he just turned up. Shit, all the hoes gonna be at his house. They be like, you got some drink? You got some drink?
Man, but it is people doing that out here just for personal gain. But for real people that's doing this, yeah, Hunter, people they're just tired and they're irritated. And the big question and the big answer right now, Hunter, is like this. People of color, especially black people, including, it's a lack of trust between us and the legal system. It's a lack of trust between us and the police. It just is, Honcho. It's been like that for years. And the thing is, police don't trust us, and we don't trust police. And that's why we have indications like these. It's a lack of trust. Stereotypes on both sides, Honcho. Because, I mean, I think for a lot of cops and for a lot of stereotypes so many years since Jim Crow, that the big black man is just scary. He's terrifying. You get what I mean? He rapes the white women. He takes all the food. He's uneducated. He does it. And those stereotypes, even though they're not said, they're still used in a certain way. People don't realize that those images have been passed down for generations and stuck on people's heads. You get what I mean? And our perception about the cops ain't the best either. You get what I mean? How all KKK, all this and all that. And what that creates is friction. That creates that lack of trust that is not between both sides. And we have instances like this. You get what I mean? And it's devastating, Honcho. It's devastating that we, as people, can't have trust that the people that are supposed to protect us. You get what I mean? And a lot of changes need to happen. The thing is, when how should I say this, man? This is devastating to where, I mean, it's clearly a bias, Honcho. I need to see this one video on the scene, man, where it was this one white dude. His name was David Arbiter, and I forgot what town he was in, but I don't know, the girlfriend, wife, somebody related to him was yelling at him. He whooped on the state trooper and on the police officer. She was a female. Whooped the shit out of him. Gun never got pulled, never anything. You get what I mean? This man put up pronto. Let me tell you something. He assaulted 2 police officers, grand theft auto, battery, stole one of the guns. Oh, I'm not making this up. This really happened. You get what I mean? And the reason I'm telling you this, why, Honcho, when black people see that infuriates us. Because why don't you reach for your gun? that is the time to reach for your gun. Because you are being assaulted. With us, it's a different situation. That's how a lot of black people feel. You get what I mean? And that's what I say, the lack of trust, the lack of consistency between police officers is what gets people wrong. You get what I mean?
I get you.
And the thing is, if you act like that to me, you should act like that to everybody. If we don't like it, but at least you're consistent. That lack of consistency makes you think you're biased to one side. And that's the problem. You get what I mean? And, you know, with the protesters, I think it's just like saying anger. People are just pissed. And when they go out there and they root these cities and they do this and they do that, it's just a lack of, I want rights and I want it now. And, you know, me and my mom are so much this. You know, Honcho, black people are like hamsters. We run
What?
Let's tell you what, it's funny, but it's a good analogy.
Okay, come on.
Hamsters, man. We run on a wheel and we running and we never getting off that wheel. Either way we go, we're running in that wheel. Because think about this, if we go the peaceful way, like my dude said before, it's not getting attention. It won't get noticed. It will get swept on the road. Or it will get lack of attention because it's not interesting. When we riot, it makes us look bad either way. You get what I mean? Either way, we're running in that circle and we're not getting what we want. You get what I mean? So this leaves the question. Okay, we're protesting right now, right now, Joe. Doing this to these different cities, looting, all that. What's next? Because eventually we're going to stop. Eventually, the National Guard will come. Eventually, this is going to get shut down. So my main question is what we do now. And that's why I want these black leaders out here talking to think about it. You get what I mean? Well, let's go walk to Capitol Hill and demand rights. You get what I mean? Because something has to change. Because if we don't make no change now about making some bills, you get what I mean, and the laws into place, this is going to happen over and over and over. It's going to keep happening, Honcho, and it's going to be the same result. You get what I mean?
Yes, sir.
The thing is, when it comes to people love attention, Honcho, and people love, you know why Corona was so big? Because Corona was number one everything. It was number one. It was hot trending. You get what I mean? Just like how everybody was wearing masks, gloves, like shit people never did before, having hand sanitizer, standing 6 feet. People are doing that right now because it's hot. It's number one trending. Once Corona is done, so people will do that for a couple months, maybe a year, and it's over. People act like Corona never happened because it's not hot no more. It doesn't stay in your mind. It's not being fed to you. You get what I mean? And that's what's going on with this topic. Right now, it's hot. It's being fed to you because it is more violent than usual. But then, after it starts being talked about, which it will eventually, nothing will happen. That's why I want us to do with people. What is next? What will we do after the riot? How will we change after this? Because I don't see nobody doing it. And right now, I know it's in the heat of the battle. We got to start thinking after. And that's why, you know. And I'll say this, Honcho, when it comes to the cops being arrested, the other 3 cops need to be charged. In my opinion, it's murder. It's not manslaughter. They murdered that man. You get what I mean? It was murder. You get what I mean? Because I can't go do that same thing to another person, Honcho. Put my knee on somebody's neck. I murdered somebody. It's to do the same. And, you know, he got 3rd degree. You know, the thing is, that's the lowest degree. And, Honcho, it matters on the DA. One thing I learned is when it comes to being charged for crime, it's so hard to convict them. Honcho, the servers of the peace, the servers of that county or that state or that city. And you got to realize, how many times do you think they didn't see the DA or know the DA? They might be friends with the DA. The DA might be their homeboy that comes to their dinner sometimes. So, do you really think that the DA? I'm just making the theory, but do you actually think that DA's really gonna go hard to arrest his friend that he might just know when a cop of his city is being arrested? People don't think like that. He probably won't. That's why you need, in my opinion, a special DA or a private DA hired by either the family. They have nothing. There's no connection with the state, because when you get a DA from the state, the higher chances of any cop getting off is easier because they're in that state. They probably have relationships with them. They probably deal with them for so many cases. You get what I mean? So you have to think about it like that. The justice system in a certain state for a cop, they know each other. This cop knows the judge. You get what I mean? He knows the DA. He might know half of the jury on the motherfucking stand. You get what I mean? So how much do you think you're going to get out of this? Of these friends with probably most of these people. You know, that's what I say. A private DA, a selective jury of other people is what you should go. I don't know if that's going to happen. You know. And that's what I think.
Damn, we got toys. I got kids. Quick. Let me do. You have to go do it.
Fuck player. My Somalian brother. You got the white right there. She got her.
She under them lamps right now. She reading the motherfucking fiction novel in her bed, lamp on. She turned to look at the lamp. She smiled at the lamp. She said, "It's a nice fucking lamp. I really like it."
Right now, so this is a topic based over Corona, because I personally think Corona is man-made. I'll be honest with you. It's a pandemic, is what I call it. And this shit was planned. You get what I mean? This is a topic that is rooted in American history. You get what I mean? That has been the issue of American history for years, dating back to Jim Crow. And it needs to get talked about and needs to get settled. Because one thing I learned about America, Honcho, we don't learn from our history. That's why I want to be a historian so bad. When you don't learn from your history, it repeats itself. America has been through this problem multiple times, but they never learn from it. It never changed. They never grow from it, and it repeats itself. Till we learn from our history and figure out what we need to do that's right and how to include everybody and get all sides, man, I don't even know what's going to change, Honcho, man. It's just, I'm tired. I don't want to wake up again and see this happen. And if laws ain't made, if statements ain't said, if demands ain't said, just get ready for more topics like this to be said, man. But that's my call, man. Honcho, thank you for taking my call. Rest in peace to all the victims, man. They rest in paradise. They're in a better place. And man, we some changes got to happen. That's all I'm gonna say. But that's my call, Honcho.
All right, Mr. Roman. I appreciate you calling in this evening, sir.
Anything, man.
All right.
No.
All right. I think this will probably be our last call of the evening. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
What's the motherfucking deal?
Nobody wants to die.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, you know, appreciate the love, Houston, Texas talk.
Talk about Obama acting like change needed now.
I am doing spectacular, gloriously. I've been watching these NYPD ass whooping videos on the protesters on Twitter. Bro, I don't know. If there's one thing you don't do, is fuck with a police department that was inspired by the Fighting Irish 120 years ago. You don't fuck with them. Bro, they are brutalizing these protesters. Bro, all I need is popcorn. They're squaring up and literally boxing protesters and knocking people out. And then 5 cops will come over and beat them with billy clubs. And as the guy's getting back up, somebody else will run over and knock the fucking protester the fuck back out and put handcuffs on him. They're driving past them with their undercover cars and throwing the door open and smashing it into them.
Yeah, I saw that shit. I did see that one.
Bro, they're literally taking both hands full force and just throwing women across the street. They whooping ass at the Barclays Center. Bro, they are fucking people up, and it is glorious. Bill de Blasio is a piece of fucking trash. He fucking turned his back on the NYPD. He fucking made it hard for them to do their fucking job. Kept talking about, well, my son Dante is black, and I was a black. Dude, we get it. But, bro, they are letting loose tonight. Oof. I love NYPD. Stop beating up about the black folks. Beat up on everybody equally so we can all enjoy these videos equally. I'm telling you, I am so happy right now. And CNN headquarters is getting fucking trashed. Oof, I love it. It's a glorious night. Anyway, so how you been?
I've been good. Apparently, I just scrolled real quick and I see that they are tussling with the Secret Service outside of the White House right now.
Yeah, but I mean, because of the D.C. thing. But they ain't going to show up in mass numbers because they already know that at the White House, they're not going to wait for the National Guard to get orders. They're going to just fucking blast you in 2 seconds flat. So they ain't going to... actually, Guru, at the Barclays Center, was a mixed crowd. And that reminds me, Guru. So at the Barclays Center, they had like a nice sized crowd there, and they were literally all brawling with the cops, and the cops were beating them with batons and everything. And then there was like this a mixed-looking light-skinned black guy, good size, I'm like 6'1", 220, and he's trying to get like fresh with these 2 cops. And all of a sudden, you see these big, giant black hands go in between 2 cops and push them apart, and there's this Green Mile, Michael Clark Duncan-looking dark-skinned black dude just looked at him like, "What's up? I remember you from high school picking on me, light-skinned." And the fucking light-skinned black guy just froze, and he was like, "Oh shit." I love the NYPD. So, what do you want to talk about?
Where is this thing going? I mean, again, David Chauvin has been brought in. He's been arrested. He's been charged. But yet people are still kind of rioting somewhat. Again, I still have my thoughts about some of these riots and some of the things I've seen later. But we'll get into that. But where is this going? I mean, are the riots going to slow down? Are they going to continue to happen? I mean, do you think that the government is going to get this thing under control? Is it going to be martial law? Like, where do you see this trending?
It'll die out over, and give it another day or two, it'll be done, and then the media will pretend like they care about black people and start talking about how the country needs to heal to come together, and we need to have another conversation about white privilege and how Trump's a racist and this and that, and no one, and it'll be same old. So that's what I think. I think in 2 days the physical violence will be over, and then after another week, the media will be done covering it, and they'll be on to the next blood-sucking story that they can make money off of.
Okay. I could definitely see that. I think I just saw the fuck video you're talking about. So it's just like, that's crazy stuff. But, okay. So, I mean, do you think these charges are going to stick?
Well, the first thing I did when I watched the DA's press conference live, because I was curious to see what they were going to say, and they gave him 3rd-degree murder, and the guy said 3rd-degree manslaughter, but it ended up being 2nd-degree manslaughter, so maybe he misspoke. So 3rd-degree manslaughter, Minnesota, the recommended guidelines are 12 and a half years for that. 2nd-degree manslaughter recommended is 4 years. Usually if you get convicted of both, they'll let you serve it consecutively. So if recommended is 12 and a half and 4, I'm guessing they'll probably cut that in half because he's a police officer. They're going to look out for him. Otherwise, what's going to happen, and I know it sounds fucked up, as these police officers are getting more and more nervous about even just sneezing in the wrong direction and getting in trouble, they're going to start asking for more from their unions, and that's going to cost the unions more money. They're going to need more money from the taxpayers, more money from the state, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, okay, we can't piss off the officers, we can't piss off the civilians, we can't, you know. So I feel like they're going to go a little bit easy on him, and I think he'll end up doing a total of like 2 or 3 years served if he gets convicted. My sister today, I was talking to her about it. She doesn't think he's going to get convicted at all. She thinks, she's like, they're not going to convict him. He's a cop. And I'm like, like I said, like, no, they might just give him a couple of years. I'm like, just to shut people up. And then she's like, well, what about the other cops? And I'm like, I mean, I think, you know, I was like, I don't know. I'm like, honestly, I'm not even thinking about the other cops. I'm thinking about, this is the main guy who had the knee on the neck. And then she's like, you know what's fucked up? She's like, all these people are rioting. She's like, why are they rioting Target? She's like, why aren't they like burning down a police station? I'm like, well, they did, but after the cops left it. She started laughing. And then she was like, you know what's really fucked up though? She's like, no one helped that guy. She's like, they were all sitting there filming him, and nobody like bum rushed the cops. I was like, well, nobody's trying to die. No one's trying to get arrested. They don't know him like that. I'm like, but you're right. Like, it would have been nice if someone just like, at least pushed the cop and then ran off. You know what I mean? Nothing literally, you don't have to beat the shit out of them, but you could have pushed one and then just ran off. You know what I mean? Spoke to another friend of mine today, and I picked his brain about this. And you know what he said to me? About in regards to our conversation last night, which is ironic. I didn't say anything to him, and I'm letting him talk. He's like, you know, because I don't understand. Why don't you just like march up to City Hall and like protest there? He's like, why would you go like, you know, rob a liquor store and Target? He's like, how does that make any sense? He goes, at this point, you know, they don't care about this guy. They're just out to like do whatever the fuck they want. And he's like, and then this is where I was like, yes. He goes, you know what? Fuck that. Go to City Hall and fucking burn it down. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
you gotta think like a devil.
Yeah, if you're angry, you gotta go. You know, you gotta find where the change is made and make some changes. So
this is closer to. This is making Joe Biden closer to pick a black woman for a VP, because Klobuchar had an opportunity to press charges on this particular cop that put the knee on George Floyd's neck years ago, and she didn't do it. She decided to not press charges on him for a different incident. So if he can't elect her now because they're going to bring this up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, Klobuchar's out. What do you got on your mind?
You know, not a whole lot. Like I say, it's crazy. You know how these things are popping up all over the place. Do you think that some of these protests have been infiltrated by people with other motives?
Yeah. I mean, people that don't care about him just looting, organizations paying people to go out there and just, you know, put more bodies in the street, or even go out there and purposely, you know, set things on fire and do crazy things. The riots in what was it, Louisville?
Yeah.
Fucking somebody brought a gun and shot 7 people in the middle of the protest.
What the fuck?
I was like, you got it. You can't make this shit up. You're protesting police brutality, and someone brings a gun and shoots 7 protesters. You can't make this shit up. It's embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about Soros. You know, it's
if Obama wouldn't make change, what's Senator gonna?
The whole fucking world is rigged.
That's crazy. Houston, Texas Talk, aka Asma. Appreciate the love, sir. Obama didn't want to make no change, man. It's okay. Like I said, I don't necessarily know. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of other thoughts. Just with the information that's been presented today, you know, how has it impacted, or has it changed anything that you thought? Is it kind of along the lines of what you've expected to hear or expected to see as far as the events surrounding this incident?
What happened today?
Well, I'm just saying, as far as, you know,
not trying to be funny, but
no, I'm saying as far as him
yesterday.
actually getting charged, and them actually bringing him in, you know, compared to yesterday. You know, it seemed like they were mentioning that, well, we have evidence, but there's not enough evidence for a criminal charge. So it almost seeming as though that they weren't going to bring him in. And then, you know, what's floating around now is it's believed to say that, well, actually the cause of death isn't the knee to the neck, it's an underlying health condition. So You're saying, oh,
and we haven't gotten back the toxicology reports.
So if they're saying it could be heart disease or some of those other things, and yeah, and I guess that could be a thing, but I'm pretty sure that condition is aggravated by having a lack of oxygen or fucking in the back of the
I think that's a very fair assumption. But I think they're also going to use it in court, saying like, look, that's proof he didn't have his knee on his neck that hard. It was just there for like, I still probably say some stupid shit like for stability, or just to let the guy know like, I'm here, you can't move, don't be trying to shit. Like, I'm sure they'll play it in their favor. But I agree with you. I feel like if his knee wasn't on his neck, and I've been saying this over and over, and if it was maybe like in his shoulder blade area instead, he might have been less stressed out, maybe. I don't know, you know. But let me tell you a fucked up story.
All right, what you got?
So you know this whole COVID thing that's been going on?
Yeah.
So in New York, our lovely governor, a beautiful Democrat governor, he's been ordering certain hospitals to take more COVID patients. I guess because they're more equipped with ventilators or whatever than other hospitals. And these hospitals all took them in. You know, you got to do the right thing. You're a hospital, you're here to save people. Now these hospitals are having financial issues. So they're having conference calls with all of the nurses and doctors and saying, we can't meet our budget. We're not going to furlough anyone as long as you agree to relocate. If you don't agree to relocate, we're going to furlough, or AKA fire pretty much, a certain percentage of the doctors and nurses. And the relocation is to like the shittiest departments you'd want to work in, like neonatal care, where it's like 2-pound babies born at 26 weeks that are like dying left and right, where people are going to fucking have nightmares every night. I mean, like not everybody has a stomach for that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have a heart for it, but we don't have a stomach for that. So my sister and everyone's like, I could never do that. Like, I would be crying all day long. And how is that? Like, thank you, fucking essential workers. Fuck you. It's like, thank you for your service, essential workers. Fuck you. That is disgusting. That is your fucking liberal fucking Democrat states for you. Oh, we have to help everybody, which I agree. And now fucking they did all that, and you tell them that if you don't transfer, we're gonna fire you. You gotta be kidding me. Fucking disgusting. Yeah. Disgusting.
But it's definitely. Yeah, that's fucked up, man. You know, definitely. I think the. I mean, all of this that's going on. I think there are definitely a few things that need to be looked at. How we. And I think the medical system is definitely one of them. I mean, we have too much technology. We have too much availability to be, you know, again, the most powerful country in the world and not be the most up-to-date country in the world. Like, I really feel like, again, you can't do everything for everybody, but I think there are certain things that you could do that could benefit everybody more so on the whole. But again, like you have a lot of medical frauds, you have a lot of all this other bullshit that goes on, and it's just unfortunate that, you know, things are happening the way that they are, because I think that
still not police protocol for knee to neck.
I think that availability should be there for everybody. I don't understand why we're firing people after you made a terrible decision because of this incident, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, was believed to do more than it really did. So yeah, it is what it is.
And now they're saying that I saw the donation just now from about the knee of the neck is still in our protocol.
Yeah.
Now they're saying that they're going to review the training material and the person who trained them, because they're saying if the knee and the neck was not in the training material, but the trainers showed him that, and that would like override the manual, and that would be a way for him to not be considered guilty.
Oh wow, that's terrible.
They're looking at it. They're looking at everything.
That's crazy.
Did you hear about the actor? It's a young actor, a black guy, and they were talking about like, I guess, civil rights ever and stuff like that. And he was talking about Rosa Parks, and he goes, you know, I don't understand why Rosa Parks did what she did. She could have just took a cab.
No.
Did you hear about that shit?
No.
Oh my god, bro! I was like, what? It was a British black guy. He was a young guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was like Demeek Moore. I know I'm butchering his name. And he said, he goes, I don't understand why Rosa Parks was such a big deal. She could have just taken a cab if she wanted to go somewhere and not sit in the back. I was like, you serious, dude? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, man. You know, I don't know. Some of these younger kids, like, maybe they don't recall what it was like before phones and things. And so things are a little bit different. So smartphones even.
Ask Louis the 17th how he feels about his arm being ripped off by a protester. There was a statue of King Louis. I forgot where, but they fucking ripped off. They ripped off his right arm.
No.
I thought of the Den folk when I saw that.
That's terrible, man.
Where do you think all this is going?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I think again, like I said, it seems like with every little incident that happens, you know, a little bit more kind of overflows, and I don't know if this is a breaking point. It just seems a little bit different. I think we find out in the long term. I think it's going to be a little bit maybe when you actually have a court date and a trial, if it goes that far, if he doesn't, you know, get some type of deal or whatever. And it's just going to be interesting. But I think if it doesn't go favorably, if he doesn't, you know, get any time, I think people are really going to react and kind of it'll go a little bit further than it did now. Because I think like when you commit to something and you kind of stick it out. What I mean by commit is like, okay, say I went out there today and I went to a rally and I supported this thing or whatever. I think if it happens again and you know it's a situation where people feel like, okay, this guy was wrong, all you had to do is move a little bit and the guy would be alive, you deliberately killed him, you know, you weren't struggling with him, you're sitting there with your hands in your pockets, kind of looking real casual, and so people just feel a particular way about this incident. I think people may get a little bit more angry about this, but then again, like I said, I think it'll be a long-term thing, and then depending on how everything has kind of recouped from the whole pandemic situation, I think that on top of what's happening is also a reason you're seeing a lot of this shit going on. But I think it could get ugly in the long term, but I don't think it's going to change anything.
I have two quick questions for you, and I'm going to run off this phone.
All right, yeah.
The first question is, if you were there when that arrest was going down of George Floyd, without having to think about it right now, in the moment, do you think you would have physically done something?
Probably. And I know it's easy to say
probably
that.
Yes.
I'll probably say yes, because I know it's easy to sit here and say, yeah, I'd have done this, that, and the third. It's like I've had a thing about, I don't know, people like getting picked on ever since I was young. I don't feel like I'm getting, this is not like, oh, well, they're bullying them, they're cops. It's a situation. I don't think I could just sit there and watch somebody fucking lose their life, like, for such a simple thing. Like, hey, man, fucking move. Now, I know that would put me in grave danger, because I'm not sure exactly what his size, but he was a larger gentleman, probably similar size. He was compared to Stack. He's not too much shorter than he is. But, yeah. I probably hope that I'm much lighter than I am now if a situation was to occur like that. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm going straight to jail because I ain't running nowhere. I got about a block and a half in me, maybe at best, and I'm going down. I'm laying down, not like winding down, not like trailing down. I mean a block and a half, and then I collapse. That's all I got for y'all right now. No, but no, I mean it's just like it's just something like even watching it's just you feel something. It's like how. Nah, I can't let this happen again. I can't be the one. I mean, it was almost like the situation with old Buddy. Cause who was the guy that actually filmed the Eric Garner thing? Because didn't they give him time?
I think people are saying like the NYPD harassed him for a while afterwards. But I don't remember if he got time or not.
Okay. So yeah, it's crazy. So I don't see it. I don't know, man. You know, that's something you'd have to deal with.
Did you think? When you first saw the video, like the first minute or two in, did you really think that he was going to die?
No.
Or did you just say like this is a bad looking position?
He like at first it was just like I was expecting, okay, these fucking cops are going to probably this cop's going to start punching this guy and it's going to get, you know, something crazy going to happen. It's going to get all fucked up. It's going to be one of them just, you know, unnecessary ground and pounds or something is what I was expecting to see. But as it kind of went along, you kind of look and you're like, this guy's struggling a bit, you know. And when the first one I saw, I didn't hear the audio as much. But then when you kind of hear him, like, you know, begging fucking to breathe, like, it kind of does a little something. It's like, whoa, you know, come on, let's just man up. Like, how hard would, even if he's lying, how hard would it be to find out? I mean, really, like, it's three of you. A simple adjustment of your knee would do wonders I mean, would completely change the whole situation. And obviously, again, like I said, you're not struggling. It's not like, oh, I'm in a predicament. You got your fucking hands in your pocket. You're just kneeling on a dude. You know what I mean? So it's like, what the fuck is really going on here is my thing. Because it didn't even seem as though they were like actually trying to, you know, put him in a car or, you know, whatever their next move was. It's just kind of hanging out right here, right now, until we figure out what we're gonna do. So it's just it's a lot of things going on in that situation that are disturbing.
All right, and my last question I'm going to get off because I know Miss Grace and Prepaid want to get in. So I was there was a bird nest by my mother's house that I was been watching the past few weeks, and the birds finally flew away. And it was a nice thing to watch them grow up. I felt like they were my kids, and I watched them growing up, and they left the coop to fly off to college. My niece and my nephew were teasing me today. They were like, oh, you don't have your babies anymore? I was like, no, they all grew up and went to college. But my question to you is, I was thinking about it as I was grocery shopping. And I started thinking about that kid that fell into the exhibit with the gorilla Harambe, and then they shot the gorilla, and the kid was safe, right?
Yes.
So I started thinking, all the times you've seen gorillas on like National Geographic Channel, on the internet, YouTube, wherever you may see them, have you ever in your life seen a gorilla taking a shit?
What the fuck? I'm over here thinking about how John's now an empty nester, and then we've gotten the gorilla shit somehow. I want to say I haven't really seen him like literally take a shit, but I want to say, was it a gorilla that flung the shit? I want to say I saw one of them monkeys fucking shit in their hand and fucking.
But did we see him? But did we see him take the shit though?
No, didn't see him actually take the shit. From the angle that they were at, you didn't see the shit. You just saw him kind of put his hand in position. And when the hand returned into the frame, it was loaded.
Like we've all seen a cat, a dog, a horse, a fish take a shit. Birds, never seen a gorilla take a shit anywhere.
That might be
things to think about.
This is so fucking off the rails.
Anyway.
Oh man.
Anyway, let me go.
Look, that's it. We're here now. This is where we're at. All right. Well, that's a bit, Mr. John. I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts with you, and hopefully your bird babies are living their best life.
Cheap. All right. I look forward. By the way, great calls tonight. It was an awesome streak. Great calls to everybody. Shout out to everybody who called in. And I'm looking forward to Prepaid and Pay Grace calling in. Thanks. Bye.
Absolutely. Have a good evening. Thanks, sir. Shout out to Mr. John. We got a couple of calls in line, so we'll make it run here for a little bit. We'll take some calls. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
It's your favorite black person.
What? Bun B? What's going on, my nigga? Nah, anyway. And for the record, Bun B is not my favorite black person. I don't even know why I said that. But what's the motherfucking deal, Dakota? What's on your mind, man?
Nothing much. You know, this is clear and obvious time for race baiting. Let's get it.
Okay.
Nah, but seriously, like, as far as the dude being charged, because you know I didn't even know he had been charged until a couple hours ago, and I heard a report that they wouldn't go after him for murder 1 nor 2 because they couldn't prove intent. And the fucked up part about that is like, how long you gotta sit on the motherfucking neck to make it to, you know, determine intent? Like, this nigga sat on this dude's neck for 6-7 minutes. You put somebody in a chokehold, they out in a minute and a half tops. So to sit on this man's neck, and you know, some jujitsu masters are saying that that's a form of torture. It was some intent in there. Was it an intent to kill him? Who knows? It was reported that they worked together at some point in time. Maybe they got into it at work, and he pissed him off, and he had to get back at him. Out of him. But you know, who knows But to say there's no intent somewhere, I kind of find that hard to believe. But I will take this time to get on my people's ass. For the simple fact of the matter is, like I said, I wasn't for the rioting, but I'm also not against it. I'm just like, what's next after this shit? Because what happens if, this shit don't work? This man get acquitted, this man walks, what's next? Because you done tore up the city, you done burned the fucking city to the ground. What's next? What are you gonna do next? How are you gonna mobilize next? Because after all the marching and the we shall overcome Negro spiritual, we don't do shit. It's the hashtag for a good month and a half, like I said the last time, and y'all forget about these people. And that's not fair to the families that y'all fucking tearing down the city in the name of you tearing down the city in the name of George Floyd, but you ain't doing nothing a year later when it's not popular no more. You ain't doing nothing 5 years later when it's not popping no more. So we as people gotta stop being outraged in the moment. I'm still outraged about Trayvon Martin. I'm still outraged about Sandra Bland. I'm still outraged. Fuck Mike Brown though. I fucking straight up. Because it was like that's one person I said deserved a shot. Because he was caught on camera knocking out an elderly man for no fucking reason. So he deserved them shots. But anybody else that died unnecessarily by cop hands, that's fucked up. And I'm still outraged about it. And these are stories I still follow to this day. And to say that, we are outraged now is kind of far-fetched, because how you gonna be outraged now, but when this shit's not cool no more, you gonna go on back to fucking life? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you got these fake ass activist rappers. Like, don't get me wrong, Ice Cube is one of my all-time favorites. He's number 5 on my list of all-time greats.
Word? Ice Cube? Okay.
But to sit here and say that, you want people to go out in the streets and tear it up and riot and shit like that, who does that help? That doesn't help us, because it paints us in a negative light. It paints us in that violent image that they always want to show of us. Y'all gotta stop that shit. But and then you got rappers like T.I. that don't. Sometimes I don't even understand what the fuck he be saying. He uses big words. I think he has no idea what they even fucking mean. And then, Lil Wayne said something, and it was funny to me, because it's like, my dude, if you've never experienced racism, I salute you. Go ahead, cool. But you have a fucking 10-minute track. Now, the song is called Don't Get It. Most people think it's called Misunderstood, but it's wrong. It's called Don't Get It. It's on the Carter 3. This track is about 9 minutes long, 10 minutes long. But the actual fucking song where he has a verse is only about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes long. He goes on about a fucking 8-minute tangent about racism, and then fast forward 15 years down the line, and he's never seen or experienced racism. What kind of dumb shit is that? Well, people need to stop following these dumbass celebrities, because now he ain't never seen it a day in his life. But you got a whole fucking track about it. Okay, that makes sense. And as far as, just the fucking numbers and the statistics, and people want to say that, oh, there's no divide in America, we're all Americans, this, and that. I have a hard time believing there's no divide, because a person that commits the same crime, his white counterpart, first-time offenders with public defenders, that white counterpart is 2 times more likely to get a lesser sentence than the black dude. So let's not say there's not a clear divide somewhere in our justice system and in our society, because it is. Now, should you use that as a crutch? No. You get your ass up and you make shit happen. Stop blaming people for what you don't have. Do we all have access to the same amenities and shit like that? No, we don't. Do we have access to the same resources? No, we don't. Do we have access to the same fucking infrastructures that help people? No, we don't. But that shouldn't be an excuse. You shouldn't have to pause your life and say, oh, well, the white man ain't give me this, so I ain't got this. Fuck that. I'm kicking the white man door down. Give me what you got for me, my nigga. That's what it is. That's just how I look at it.
So you say by any means it is what it is. You got to go get it.
Exactly. You know, like I tell my story a couple times. I was fired from several companies. And then it got to a point where it's like, I can either stay on this same cycle, work for a couple months, maybe a year, probably 2 years, fired, bam, I'm back on unemployment, back doing the same shit. So never in the cycle. Or you can go your own route, you just stack your clients and work when you want to. So, you know, we all have this thing called Google. If you don't know something, look it up. If you want to fact check something, look it up. You know, we have access to information that we didn't have access to 20 years ago because technology was so limited. You have many computers in your pocket. Correct. And most of y'all want to sit there and look up ass.
Hey, wait. Ain't nothing wrong with that, you know, but, you know, you got to divide your time properly.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with looking at a little ass or two, you know. But, you know, if that's all you want to do with your day, unless you gonna go into porn or adult filming, I don't see what the fuck you doing, you know. Like avid weed smokers, it's okay to have a blunt or two, but if that's all you're doing with your life, I have a problem with that. Ashley, stop trying to
I'm about to say, well, damn, how did that happen?
Nah, I like fucking with Ashley, but yeah, man. It's just, I just hate when I hear black people say the white man is holding us down, but I can understand it, but I can't sympathize with you because this dude can hold us down in one aspect of life, but he can't close the door on everything we want to do. If this situation don't teach black people nothing, it's time to stop the bullshit and band together and say enough is enough. The numbers say we're not being killed astronomically, but it don't feel like that. You see what I'm saying?
Do you think it's made worse because when something does happen, the footage is replayed over and over and over again, and we watch it over? Do you think that makes somebody? I mean, they're bad. Like if somebody loses their life and it doesn't get, you know, oh, this could be better, or that could be whatever. Like, is it because of the repetitive nature of it? Do you think that makes it worse? Is that, you know, kind of insult to injury when we see these situations? Does that make it seem like maybe that's why we're thinking it's so much more? It feels like so much more.
Yeah, you know, because it's you can go back to the Rodney King incident when he got his ass whooped. Like, he should have had some consequences, but you don't beat a man like that in the street. And then they blatantly lied, and all got off. Matter of fact, just recently, a cop was acquitted on all charges. And I want to say San Jose or Santa Barbara. I can't remember. I know it's in California. Dude just got acquitted on all charges when he shot this teenager in the back 15 times. Like, how do you get acquitted for shit like that? And then you see shit like George Floyd. And it's like, damn, again, this shit is happening to us again. Like after the marching and the protesting, it's time to band together in all cities and across the U.S. Go to your state representative and say, look, this is what we want. If we don't get this, we're not putting your ass back in office. We have to have a political identity, which we do not have. We just vote with the fucking Democrats.
Correct.
So let's black people, let's get a fucking political identity, and let's start making real change in our community. Because we like to say, oh, this youth ain't got nothing. They all bullshit and fucked up and shit. But who raised this new generation? we gotta take blame on it too. We raised this generation.
Yeah.
So we got to stop, and say, hey, young brother, this ain't the way to go. You need to be doing something like this. And I do shit like that. I got three dudes in my apartment where I just moved from. They still in the electrical field to this day. And I told them, if you don't like electrical, you got plumbing. You got pipe fitting. You got welding. You have other trades to go into. If you don't want to do a trade, go get a fucking degree. It is cheaper to go to school than it is to go to jail, my nigga. Like, do something other than what you're doing right now. Because this young dude was at 18, out here running around like a dumbass. And I felt an overwhelming sense of like, that used to be me. So let me pull this young brother out of this bullshit instead of saying, man, he a lost cause. Because he really wasn't. He just needed somebody to teach him a different way, which is what I did. Matter of fact, I just drove by there about a month ago, and he got a whole little racket about changing people's spark plugs. Nigga got filled. I was like, God damn. I thought your ass a little too good. But, he making money now. He's still an electrician. He out there changing people's spark plugs. It is what it is. He's doing it. His little partner his name was Trey. He was out here banging and selling drugs. I was like, look, bro, you can go get your electrical license. He's still an electrician. I still get text messages from his foreman saying he's one of the best workers he had. And these are facts. I can prove this shit, bro. So if we want the youth and our next generation to not grow up and be as dumb as this generation, we got to put the work in. Most of us want to complain and don't put the work in.
Sure.
So if you know how to get money and you making money, and you see a young brother out here struggling and just lost, help him. If you offer him the information and he don't do shit with it, then that's when you write him off. But you don't write him off just looking at him and saying, oh, no, I can't help him. I can't do shit with him. Because to me, it's like this youth is crying out for some sort of direction. And like one caller said, the black community is so fucking emotional. It's ridiculous, bro. Like, I can't say that I'm not. I get emotional sometimes. Hell, I didn't call in and y'all didn't heard me get emotional. So, but I know how to conduct myself as a man and to take a step back and be like, look, man, it is what it is. If I can't do it by myself, then I call my brother. I call my father-in-law. I used to call my dad and be like, look, I need y'all to put me in place. What's going on? So we need more leaders and not these fake ass activists, celebrities that's telling us to go out here and do one thing when they sitting in their cushy ass lifestyle, not giving a fuck about the rest of us.
Correct. And that's the problem too. I think that we're gonna definitely talk about it real soon. And we've talked about it kind of not that long ago, but just having too much faith in these celebrities. You've mentioned several throughout this call. That people having hope and faith in. When that album comes, they anticipate every word. But when these situations occur, or when things are going on in the world, or just simply they have not too much to say. Again. So people need to take that into mind. They consider. Here's the thing: whatever side of this argument you're on, whatever belief you have. You know, there's many elements of this situation that in one way or another could impact you regardless of, you know, your gender, your background, your belief or whatever. You know, it's a situation where, again, we can talk about race. If you want to make it a race thing, if you want to make it an authoritative thing, you can make it that. You can make it, like say, you can take a bunch of angles, whatever you want. But, you know, it's just that something has to be done to protect the people, because ultimately without the people, I mean, you ain't shit. And it's just, you hate to see these things happen over and over again. And like you said, I agree that you kind of have to take some of these youth under your wing if you're going to want to see change. Because right now we're letting them go willy-nilly. They're running these, they hop on the phone or whatever else is, oh shit, let's talk about the phone or whatever else is going on, and they look to these entertainers, you know what I'm saying? They look to these people to be, you know, leaders and advice givers and things like that. But we need people like who are in people's lives to, you know, to actually be a part of these kids' lives, to instruct them, to deal with stuff that's going on, you know, in their day to day, instead of relying on all of these celebrities. So, you know, my thing is this. I'm gonna pull something up here because after I showed that video that prepaid sent me, I'm trying to find this other little video real quick. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. I want to know your thoughts on this. All right, here it goes. Okay. Because I found this to be a very interesting statement too. Give me just a second. Man, see, that's what I'm saying. Look, I get falsely accused for the things that the denline does, and I get blamed for. I didn't know, since my hands were not even on any of the peripherals when it happened. But I'm tired. I'm very tired. I'm actually, I was trying to wait for the line for, I know prepaid and Ms. Grace wanted to call in. I was trying to see if the lines would come up, but no numbers have come up. So I'm trying to wait a little while. Hopefully it'll pop up and, you know, and see. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm tired of shit. I was gonna jump in the Discord after, but I probably ain't gonna be in the Discord after that. I'm probably gonna take my ass to bed. Like I said, I'm waiting. It's not no number showing. So if you're on hold, you might have to hang up and call back because for some reason nothing's showing up. But I want to show y'all this other video while I'm waiting on the phone call. I just want to know y'all's thoughts. Let me put the sound on for this one because you definitely need it. I found it to be pretty funny. Some of y'all may think differently. 1 second. I'll take the call first. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Yes, I had to hang up and call back like you said.
Okay. All right. Well, how are you feeling this evening, Miss Grace?
Much better today.
Good.
Yesterday, when you talked about we were on the Discord till 5 in the morning, I was one of the guilty. and I feel so ashamed.
It's all right. So it's a little guilty pleasure. There's nothing wrong with that.
What? It threw me off.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm not as young as I once was. I cannot hang till 5 in the morning in the Discord. I tap out usually about 2, maybe 2:30. That's as good as you're gonna get from me, and I'm tapping out.
Well, you know I can't hang because I have to take 2 naps just to listen to the den. and I've always been one of those people that even when I used to go out like to clubs and things, I have to be home and I have to go to sleep before the sun comes up. Because if I'm still awake when the sun comes up, I would get depressed. So sun was up and I'm talking to Trill and we're laughing and we're giggling and the new couple, the husband and wife, the dream team I call them, and we're laughing and giggling and the sun came up and I was like messed up. So yesterday I had to go into my little travel bag and pull up the little mask that I use on the airplane to go to sleep. I had to put that over my eyes to make it dark, to get some sleep, to get my head right again. So last night when I was listening to the den, I tapped out. I was out like a light. But it's all good because it's just an extension of the den.
Yeah,
I just wanted to hit. Right.
I'm sorry. Yes, it's just for those of you who aren't a part of that, this is a good time to plug that. Make sure you're a part of the Discord because there's a lot of stuff a lot of additional conversation that goes on to the Discord that, I mean, y'all are really missing real good conversation, like some life-changing, well, almost life-changing, depending on how stubborn the individuals in the conversation are, conversations. And I think y'all should definitely be a part of it. And it's not something you want to miss. All right, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. It changed my life yesterday. I was tired. But, no, I want to say once again, our people are full of shit. Our black people are full of shit. You know, they're a bunch of hypocrites with this bullshit. I mean, you should be equally as angry with if somebody got their knee, died because someone put their knee on a white person. Once upon a time, I was much more pro-black, and then I woke up and became pro-American. And I'm going to take you down, walk down memory lane. I grew up and lived right there during the 1970 riots in New Bedford. I told you my cousin Park and everyone. And in our neighborhood, we had this store called John Parashini's. And they allowed for all of us in the neighborhood to run up a tab. You mean, so when our mothers got their checks, you mean we go paid it off, and we had our bread and our milk and juice and all the food that we needed. Yeah, we kids in the neighborhood, they used to put fruit in the window, and they would let us go in and give us some free fruit, so that we can line it up, and you know what I mean. We'd eat the specks. Couldn't let my mother know we went in begging for specks and things like that. They're the bruised fruit, or we get a beating. You know what I mean? But they would let us clean up the bottles on the outside. You know, all of that. I mean, John Parashini's took good care of the neighborhood. You know, and then Woodlands Market. Okay. Now, when the riots started, they had the Black Panthers that had flown in from California, and they started a chapter right here in New Bedford. What I couldn't understand, even as a young girl, is that our people allowed for the Black Panthers and all of them to break into John Parashini, set it on fire, and make that their headquarters. That really hurt that man. You mean, that was a lack of trust. You mean, that was betrayal at the ultimate. I was there when our neighborhood went up in flames, and the state troopers were up on the Bernanke Pie place. That was the other place they started burning, and they tore it down. Bernanke Pies, we used to go across the street. We couldn't afford those full pies. You mean, so we used to get cripple pies for like $0.25. Do you know what a cripple pie is?
No, I've never heard of a cripple pie.
Okay, a cripple pie is that at a discount, you can get the pie that was broken and wasn't perfect. So we'd go in the back door. It would say, my mother wants 2 cripple pies, a cripple blueberry, and a cripple Boston cream. And they'd look up on the rack and see that all the pies are perfect. The guys would take a pie, they would pick it up a little bit off the table and let it drop so it crack a little bit. Now it's crippled. We could get it for $0.25. Okay, this is how our neighborhood. It was cool. So we were eating and things like that there. And the Black Panthers came in, and our own people allowed them to destroy things like that there. I could not understand. I said, I must be missing something if my neighborhood is up in flames. The houses across the street, all around us, it was all on fire. You know, what did we get after that? Okay? We got sickle cell anemia. We didn't know anything about that. Testing. Remember I told you my mother wouldn't let us sit outside and go for the sickle cell testing because she thought that they were going to shoot reefers into our arm. You know what I mean? My mother did that. We got free shoes. They started the free breakfast program. You know what I mean? And then we got urban renewal housing. All those houses that they burned down, then they build up a housing development. It looks nice, but a lot of murders do take place there. Okay? And those are the things that we got. I could not understand why we had to destroy our own neighborhood and our trust in everything for that bullshit. And they're still doing that stuff today. You mean they're burning down and looting Target, and then what? Now you don't have a Tiger or anything in your neighborhood, so you have to sit there and drive 20, 30 minutes to get some milk someplace else? That doesn't even make sense. Not to mention, you mean the people in the neighborhood, those were their jobs. You know, our people aren't thinking, they're full of shit. You know, so I went from being more pro-black to being pro-American. You know, so that was the riot. In college, I told you where I had joined. I said, okay, maybe this is something I have to do because I'm black. You're proud to be black. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. When James Brown came up with a song, I joined the Black Student Union. I told you they'd be sitting there smoking weed, strumming on guitars, having a good time, knowing that we had exams to take. And then all of a sudden they go and they take the exam, they flunk. The next meeting was about how the white professors flunked the black student. because they were black. And I'm sitting there looking at this. I'm like, no, it's because you were here smoking weed and having fun and partying, and you weren't studying. And I saw this, and I said, nah, there's got to be something wrong. You know what I mean? Because people got to be more serious about this. Because I'm serious about what I do. You know, I'm committed to it. I'll endorse it. I'll back it up. You know what I mean? And too many of them weren't. So I watched a few more times, and that's what kept happening. So I had to drop out of the Black Student Union because I said I needed to be somewhere and study and get the grades and 3.8 grade point average, 4.0. I had to do that on my own. I couldn't be sitting there playing around with them. You know, or waiting until the extra money came in for our financial aid and then go to the mall and don't make it back to class and all that other bullshit. I had to get away from that. I pulled myself away. You know, I tried all the black stuff. You mean I took students, white students and black students and my daughter. We did the March on Washington 30 years after MLK had done it. You mean I did the Million Woman March with my daughter and I took my niece. I thought that, okay, we're going to make some changes. I watched the Million Man March. Oh, good. The men are going to see what's happening. They're going to become better fathers. They're going to be better men. They're going to be better in the community. That didn't happen. With the Million Woman March, there was, I think, an Italian girl on the bus. Those black booger bear bully girls were attacking that girl. She had to stay and hang with us. Yeah, she was such a nervous wreck because she wanted to be a part of it. Yeah, they came back and they were acting so ignorant. You would think this is all about love. Sister Soldier was there speaking. I think Jada Pinkett Smith was supposed to be there speaking, but I wanted my daughter and my niece to witness that. I said, I won't do that again. You know, when my daughter was 14, I made sure that she toured, what's that? I think like 7 historically black colleges. She was the young one, the youngest one. She was 14. We had to sell candy bars, do potlucks, do tagging, do car washes, do all kinds of things to make money. Every week, you know, when she got out of school, I got out of work, you know, we'd have a meeting down there, what we're going to do to make money, blah, blah, blah. You know, we're at this point, this is how much money we made. Yep, we would go every week. All of a sudden, the last meeting before it was time to go on that tour, we couldn't find any place to park. I'm like, what is going on here? Look, with all these cars, it was all the other mothers in there and the other kids in there that didn't participate all that time. Now they were there ready to go. And that's when a big fight almost broke out. Even because I took offense to that. There was only a handful of us that were here every week raising this money and doing everything. Nobody, all those other ones didn't come. Now it's time to go, and they show up and they get to go. I said, what are you teaching them? You're teaching them that you don't have to be committed to anything, but you can still get what you want. You know what I mean? And then some guy, William Shell, had stuck up for me. He said, Kathy's right. He said, you could drop one of these big giant candy bars on the ground and somebody will pick it up and give you $1. They didn't even want, they said, well, not everybody can sell a candy bar. They wouldn't even try to sell candy bars and shit. I was disgusted. Okay? I did the African Liberation Movement, and then also I took my daughter on African American Women on Tour, which was good. So we got to meet Maya Angelou and things like that. And, you know, they separated the little girls from the mothers, and they did the rites of passage and, you know, into womanhood and all that other stuff. So I've done all that bullshit. You know what I mean? And I had to become more pro-American because I do not believe when you sit up there and you're outraged because it was a white cop leaning on a black guy that killed him, then you're missing the mark. It's as simple as anything. You should be outraged when it's a human being. I don't want to look at anything with as black and white first. I want to look at everything as good and bad first. Yeah. You know, when we start doing that, then we can start solving problems. But when you keep this separation, oh, I'm mad because, and then these people that, well, you know what, marching and protesting, your asses should have been in Chicago and those places when all black on black crime. The message is it's okay for us to kill each other, but as soon as a white person is involved, you know, now you're going to be pissed off. That's fake outrage, and it's retarded to me. And with that cop that leaned on that guy, George Floyd, I kept looking at that. It made me sick, and I kept studying it and looking at it and looking at it, and I'm saying, okay, this guy has his knee on this man's neck. He has his hand in his pocket. He's staring down at him like he's robotic. Yeah. You know, like it almost seemed personal. And I said, and if you keep your hand in your pocket on something like that, or anyone or anything, you mean you're concentrating all of your balance. So your concentration is all on one point. Where if he had his hand out of his pocket, it would have wavered, and it wouldn't have been as bad. Like he knew he was doing. And then today I find out that those two guys worked together as security. that the white cop worked on the outside of that Latin club and the black guy worked on the inside. You know, and I know the white guy was married to a Latin girl at one time, you know, because I was reading about her divorce and things like that. You mean, so I said, I wonder, was he ever jealous of him? Did they ever try to go for the same woman? You mean, because, I mean, it could be something as simple as that.
That would be crazy. If that came out to be something, some kind of faction, that would be crazy. That would make this whole thing extremely wild.
Yeah, because he was staring down at him. You know, that was like a serial killer in a police uniform. I mean, that was scary. And I kept looking at him, and he was just looking down at him, expressionless. And then when he finished, when the paramedics came and took the man away, you mean he stood up and he walked over to the Asian guy like nothing. You mean, I said, that's a serial killer in a uniform.
Yeah.
You know, so those are the things I wanted to touch upon. Go ahead. You have any questions?
Yeah, I'm just saying I saw somebody was talking about the complaints and some of the things he had. I was reading an article about the guy he shot, you know, about, I want to say it was like 12 years ago. And it was crazy. I mean, it's some wild stuff. So, you know, he could have been one of those guys, one of those action junkies, or, you know, he might be getting his fix out of, you know, policing or whatever it may be. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think something needs to happen. Do I think it's going to be long term or suitable? No, but we'll see ultimately what goes down.
The woman that owned the club, you know, I was watching her interview, and she said, "Yep, those are both the guys that work for her." It was a popular Latin club. She said sometimes she had to hire 18 people for security. It was really popular, and she said, and he was a guy that would pull out a mace and shoot everybody in the whole place without good reason. Yeah. So he was one of those. He was trigger happy, and you see how quickly, when the people started to go near to try to get him off of Floyd, you mean he pulled that thing out like he was in the Wild Wild West, like shoot 'em up, bang bang. So he pulled that mace out real fast. You know, he was crazy. Yeah. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to hit upon was that when I heard after John's call and things where people were saying that he had no right to say this because he's black, he's not black. That is like one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. So that means I have no opinion on a car because I didn't build it. You mean that means a man has no opinion on a woman because he's not a woman? No, John can't say how we feel, but he has an opinion, or anybody can have an opinion on our behaviors and actions. Yeah, absolutely. So when I hear people say things like that, I said, that's crazy. He has very strong opinions on our behaviors and actions, but no one can tell us how we feel. And John wasn't trying to do that. You know, I'm not sticking up for John, even though that's my dude. And John, I don't know why your ass was trying to start a fight with my old ass that day. Yeah, I like Malcolm X because he was a man that could apologize, and that's what I dug about him. When he was with the black Muslims and believed in segregation, and then he went to Mecca and came back, you know what I mean, and realized that it's more of a religion. It's not a black and white thing. It's just a religion with black and white and Asian everybody. He came back and he apologized for that. When the Kennedys were assassinated, and he said, and he laughed and thought it was funny and said, the chickens have come home to roost. You know, he was a man that got up there and apologized and said, I'm sorry for saying that. It was wrong. And I like a person that can really apologize. You know, just the way, John, you apologized to Kenneth Fitzgerald that day when you called in and he wasn't even on the line. You know, I like that. That's sharp as hell. You know, when someone can really, really, truthfully, from the heart and soul, and admit that they were wrong about something. And that's what I dig about my man, Malcolm X, because I was a Malcolm X girl. Okay? But I'm going to get up to leave my young boyfriend, because prepaid, you know how prepaid tells his wife that if he was older and things didn't work out between him and his wife, that I would be his northern girlfriend. Yes, sir.
The north side. Already. Well, you know, I might have to challenge him for that, but you know, I'll let him make it.
Yeah. Once he can get me from Honcho, or maybe now Keith.
You know, I don't want no problems with Mr. Keith. I already know OG, triple OG when I hear one. So I don't want no smoke. I don't want no problems, Mr. Keith. That's you.
he is a sweetheart. I will say that. He's a sweetie pie. Okay, but I'm gonna let my prepaid get in.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Miss Grayson. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, I think we'll wrap it after that one. Prepaid said he had to go to the Whataburger. I know how that whole thing goes, going to Whataburger. I had made a late night Whataburger run the other night. I got to pardon me. I know I am drab and dreary, and man, I had some fucking canes today too. What a coinky dink. I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna bullshit y'all and say I'm gonna be in a Discord. I may have my earbuds in and listen to y'all for a little bit, but I'm probably not gonna be active at all. I'm tired, y'all. So, other than that, man, you know, I appreciate all y'all. We still gotta do the movie night thing, man. I'll shoot something early in the Discord. We'll figure something out. We'll find a movie or a stand-up or something to watch. It was supposed to be tonight, but I guess, you know, we went a little bit long tonight. So, look, the last 3 nights been extended in. So, you know, hey, I don't want to hear no nonsense next week. But I'm trying to produce. I'm tired. I'm on fumes for real. But I appreciate all y'all. Any links that you need in reference to anything Den related in the description box. Ed Honcho HTX on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to get the updates, Den Show Live if you're on Facebook. You know, make sure I post the updates of, you know, whatever upcoming stream or new videos or anything. Or so if you don't get the notification from YouTube, so you see it there. Make sure you hit that like button. And I mean, even if I'm not there, I mean, go to the Den Discord. It is great conversations. There's other great Den folk in there. Some of y'all have seemed to have built some bonds, and you know, just it's a good deal. So I definitely think that if you want to have some good late night conversation, if you're a night owl, you should check it out. But with that being said, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all ain't got to go home. I'm encouraging y'all to go to the Discord. I'll put the link in the chat after the stream. Yeah, but I gotta get the fuck out of here, man. I'm gone.